Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank y'all for stopping by again. Shout out to the NTZ crew. Now, I did change back to my original camera. I've got an A-Tech, an A4 Tech that I bought in Bacala years ago. Let me know if I sound better than I did before. But shout out to the NTZ crew. That's Jacob Tanjay. Thank you so much, brother. You and Michael beat your life. What's up, TJ, and all my fourth quarter members? I'm going to have another members only live stream. I hope y'all enjoyed that members only live stream. No, the members only free concert by the young lady, Miss J. I'm going to try to get her.
Jane?
Yeah. Oh, Jane. Sorry. Honey, stop it. You're moving this. Go over there.
Wait.
Okay. I'm trying to get her to sing at my meet and greet. She was at one of my meet and greets and picked up the karaoke and, brought the house down. She's really a great singer, but all my fourth quarter members, as I love to shine. I seen Roger Walker on here, I think. Roger Walker. Hey, what's up, Roger? What time's it travels? Yeah, Cisco, Jeffrey Taylor. I know you'll be here pretty soon, man. Philippines and grab hold of you. Now, this is a career Thailand man. Okay? Not once has he said anything to me about the Philippine infrastructure. Or has he complained about it? I met him. He's a good guy. He stayed in the guest house. Any of my old heads, welcome. I saw Doubtful Genius. I thought Doubtful Genius was a fourth quarter member, but maybe he's not. But he's a supporter. I see Eric Terry on here, man. You're an honorary fourth quarter member, even though you haven't joined yet. Sakaria says, hey, Cal, how's the Philippines treating? Man, like a celebrity, like they always have ever since I've been coming here. Any new viewers or subscribers joining us today for the first time, welcome. Anybody catch this on replay? The peso is 55.76. It inched up a little bit. Just a little bit. But believe it or not, this morning, when I checked, when I first got up, I got up about 5:30 a.m. It was 55.83. He said, what's up, Cal? When's the meet and greet in Super Gay? I've changed that to June. The meet and greet in May is going to be probably in another couple of weeks, near my birthday. I've got to talk to the engineer. He ran for city council. He was elected, by the way. So he's been busy. And I haven't had a chance to talk to him because I really want to do it at his new place. It's really nice. It's on the main road. It's not going to be hard to find. And, we'll give him some business because that's the way I'm going to set it up. We're not going to rent it or anything like I have to do it Meigs. I have to, pay for, I think, 30 people. What's up, Brock? From John Team. Now, is that near Pattaya? I was looking at the news today where 18-year-old from Britain was reported missing from Thailand, and she ended up in the country of Georgia, arrested for drug possession. She came to the Philippines first, then flew to Thailand, and Saturday her family reported her missing. And now be damned if she's ended up in Georgia, the country of Georgia. She's been arrested. What's up, James Miller? Ron, I saw you. Gregory Keith, what's up? Yeah, we always have a topic. What's up, Confident Voice Speak? Today's topic is, if you can answer this one question before you travel abroad, your chances of success will increase. And what is that question? It's, how long will I stay in my destination? That's the question. If you can honestly answer that and have a firm, plan, planning is one thing, but proper planning is another. Okay, I put down here. Many of us end up overstaying. Now, I'm not talking about literally overstaying because we do that too as far as immigration. I'm saying a lot of times we got a good solid plan for 2 weeks. Everything centered around that. The money, the time we took off from work, everything. But then you get to a place, man, it starts feeling good to you. And you say, oh, I'm going to extend. But you have no more money. You really have no more time off from your job and all of that. So you turn the 2 weeks into the 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. And this is when the problems start. This is what I want to talk about today because a lot of people are coming over here doing that. The Philippines isn't going anywhere, guys, or Thailand. A worry-free vacation is it's the goal. Now, if you got the money and everything like that, it's a different story. If you got the money to extend for 2 weeks, 2 more weeks or whatever it is, but a lot of times we don't do that. And guys end up running out of money. They end up overstaying because if you don't have enough money, you can't pay the immigration. What's up, DeMarco? He said she was quite the vocalist. Man, this woman is no joke, man. Okay? I don't understand why she's not making records. Okay, but there's a bunch of singles right in this city. Okay, now y'all know as good as she was, there's another lady who went on It's Showtime. They got like a talent contest. What's the name of the contest? What's it called? Tawag ng Tawan or whatever. Well, I can't pronounce it, but it's a big national, and I think she won it, didn't she? I came in second or something. I mean, man, and then one of my other friends named Jenna Lynn or Jen, we call her. Genevieve. Oh, she can sing. I mean, they can really sing, guys. What's up, Jim? He's a good friend of mine. He's been to my house a couple of times. He's sowing his oats over here. What's up, Jim? What's up, Kamal? But yeah, we think that the Philippines is going somewhere. And so it's like, instead of going on back, getting your money back together again, coming up with another plan, whatever it is, you end up staying over here, man. I'm sorry, guys. That is not what you want to do. What's up, man? War from the desert over there. But now y'all notice I'm not talking about what's going on in America anymore. Everybody sees what's going on over there. And we're going to interpret it the way we want to interpret it. I'm not going to waste any more of my time on it. I mean, but for anybody that wants to keep pushing back and telling me that I'm not seeing what I'm seeing, and I haven't experienced everything I've experienced over there, don't come to me with that. Y'all see what's going on, man. It's right there for you to see it if you want to. But I'm not going to argue with anybody today. We're not going through that, man. Am I disappointed? Absolutely. Am I upset? Yeah, but I'm not there. Okay. He said, can I hope the pesos reach 60 pesos to the dollar or more for you and all the expats? Hey, thanks. People seem to think when the dollar gets strong against the peso, it affects the locals. It really doesn't. I guess somehow, some way it probably does, but it doesn't make their products go up anymore. Okay, it just means that because remember, they don't take dollars over here. And the dollar is not the only currency that they're trading with over here. But we seem to think that way. We got one-track minds, man. We're very narrow-minded. Okay, what happens? Okay, if the dollar's strong against the peso may be strong against the yen, the yuan, and all of that. What's up, Sam? Full-fledged fourth quarter member winning in general traders. He said, bro, the lot I was looking to purchase fell through. The seller doesn't have all the paperwork to prove that she owns it. Yeah, you don't want to deal with that. We took a subscriber and his family around yesterday, man, and showed them just an unbelievable place here. Okay, clean title, everything. You know, I'm not a real estate agent, but one of Marilyn's friends, where were we at the gym? And the guy says, yeah, because just so happened the couple was looking for a place. And I asked him, I said, well, what's your budget? He said $7 million. Whether to buy the lot and build the house or buy the house and lot. Because he's been looking in Bacala. He said, man, I'm getting very little for $7 million. So the engineer's son took us to a place yesterday, man. It's just like a palace, guys, okay? And they say a foreigner owns it. They only want $7 million. They want $7.5 million, but they'll take 7. This thing has about 7 or 8 bedrooms. I'm talking about big bedrooms, closets. It has a wraparound balcony, 485 square meter lot. So the house is probably 450 square meters up and down. It has a maid quarters. Okay, this thing is huge. They said it was too big for them. And this is one of the reasons, you know, but it's a clean title, though. But there's a lot right across from us. They want to look at that. But the thing is, I'm not a real estate agent, guys, so don't come over here wasting my time and everything. I'll show you 1 or 2 properties if they come up, but don't think I'm just going to be looking around and all that. I don't do that. That's not what I do. And certainly if you're not going to be serious about it, because people over here, they're serious about selling that stuff. I don't want to waste their time. But this place, oh man, I don't talk in hypothetics. And I told him, I said, look, I don't have a skin in the game. You're never going to find a place like this, because San Carlos City, the cost of living here is lower than a lot of places in the Philippines. And there was a house that they were building like catty corner, maybe like 100 meters away. It was about the same size as their house, $30 million. And he's getting it up, they want $7 million for it. And right across the street, the congressman, this is where the congressman lives. Because he was like, well, is it safe? The guy said, man, you ain't going to get no more safer than this. The congressman lives right across the street from you. But it was a beautiful place, man. TJ said she went missing because she didn't know her parents, she didn't want her parents to know she was about to get her back blown out in Georgia. Yeah, well, she gonna know now. And she's a nice looking, young lady. Because they put in pictures of when she was in the Philippines and Thailand. Of course, she got the bikini and everything on. But yeah, they hurried up and said she was missing. Of course, they got right on it. Dan says, how do people fly 8,000 miles and do it on a shoestring? You have to be a moron. Well, it's a lot of morons that come over here. And then, Dan, when everything blows up on them, they'll blame the vloggers. Now, because I tell y'all a lot of times, I say, the places like the Philippines and Southeast Asia, we attract a different type of expat, a different type of visitor to begin with. Imagine all the scrutiny that expat, the vloggers go through over here. They're worried about your taxes. They're worried about, does he have the right visa to be working over here? Oh, they're earning money. They don't want you to earn any money. Oh, he's making videos every day. It's crazy over here, okay? So you're liable to see anything. Nothing surprises me over here, Dan. Okay? Yeah, it's a lot of morons that show up over here. They show up over here with 2 weeks of money and they try to retire. Okay? Because in their minds, all of a sudden, it's cheap over here. No, it's cheaper than where you live, but it's not cheap. But he said, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Dan. There's a lot of morons that end up over here. I see it every day. Yeah, she was the one at the meet and greet. What's up, Enzo? What's up, W Secret to Success? He says, okay, Bitcoin is back north of 100,000. I'm smiling snatches. Cal, come down over there. Hey, but what I'm thinking about is, okay, I think I asked you this before. Okay, what's the point of having Bitcoin? Okay, it's 100,000 now. Okay, if you bought it at 75, do you sell it now or do you wait till it comes back down? I don't get it. Okay, it's north of 100,000. So what are you going to do? Sell your Bitcoin? Or you just hold on to it and go up and down? When did you sell? Because Roger sent me some information on I believe it's a cryptocurrency called MSTY. And he's just getting a hell of a return. But I'm in my spending stage. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have any money to invest right now. But he claimed, he's getting up. I'm not going to put his business out there, but he sent me some figures, man, and he's getting a nice return on his money, on his investment. But if it sounds too good to be true, man, sometimes it is. And that sounds too good to be true. And then if they're not financial advisors, real financial advisors, man, I'm real shaky. I'm real skeptical, and hesitant on taking any type of financial advice from, just people on the street. Hey, Angelo, I said, good morning, Cal. I'm leaving in 13 days. How long are you staying gone? Are you gone for good? Angelo, I hate to see that, man, but you've been over here for over a year, haven't you? He said, damn, that's a palace. I don't want anything to do with a house like that. I mean, it was big, man. I mean, and not only, okay, it had 3 full baths. One of the bedrooms downstairs was a, master bedroom. It had the bathroom attached to it. And then it had one big bathroom in the hallway downstairs and one upstairs. But right before you get to the balcony, they had a big open space, man. This place was huge. There's no way you can build a house like that for $7 million. You probably put another $1 million into it, and man, you really got a showpiece. It had I don't want to call it a canopy. What do you call that? A gazebo already built into it with the sink and the grill. It was really nice, man. He said, I still can't do anything with something not purpose-built in the Philippines, but I'm sure there are good deals to be had out there. This is one. Okay, I've had some friends who have had big houses, where they spend 4, 5, 6 million on these houses. Man, it's nothing. What we saw yesterday will make their house look like mine. I mean, huge bedroom. Like I said, it had 2 dirty kitchens, 2 outdoor kitchens. One of them was real nice, and then one of them was literally a dirty kitchen. But then it had 2 big bedrooms outside. And the guy says, well, one of these is the nurse's quarters. And the guy said, well, maybe the other one's for the chauffeur, I guess. What's up, Blizzard, bro? He said, yeah, I also can't wait to stop hearing about Duterte once I leave the vow itself. They worship him like he's Jesus. Well, I would take Duterte over Trump. You think they're worshiping Duterte? Man, you haven't been paying attention to So the new Trump can't do anything wrong. Trump is God. If the Turtle's Jesus, Trump is God. Well, he said, my worry is for the non-foreigner places. What do you mean? Because what if they want to steal it back? I don't understand. What do you mean? And then again, like I said, when you're talking about the vow, he cleaned that place up. You can't be nice to certain criminals, man. Sometimes you need a strong hand. That's the only thing prisoners, the criminals are going to listen to. But you really don't have any history, though. No, he's not Saddam Hussein. But who said Saddam Hussein was bad? The United States was dealing with Saddam Hussein for decades. And if you talk to the Iraqis, they were living good under Saddam Hussein. It's proof right there on YouTube. Go on there and look at what Iraq looked like under Saddam Hussein. And the bad guys was afraid of Saddam Hussein. There was none of this whole ISIS and all that stuff. If it was, he was dealing with them. Yeah, but remember, guys, we're in the Philippines, man. I'm not going to discuss politics, and their politics is different. But look at Trump, man. This guy is a convicted felon. Okay? Found liable in a civil lawsuit for sexual abuse. Owns millions and millions and millions of dollars. But he's in office, TJ. What's the difference? He should be in jail. Okay? That's what he should be. So while we're making fun of Duterte, look at what we got in office over there. Come on, lad. Come on now. Hey, what's up, Mike Dorseyville? And to everybody, remember the last time you were on here, y'all were talking about, Eli Manning really tore it up his senior year. No, he didn't. Go look. Okay, because I looked it up. He had his senior year, it was 29 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. About 3,600 yards. He said another closing day of uncertainty. Yeah, I'm not even really going to get into that, because I'm going to tell you something, Mopar. America is divided enough. I was watching something earlier, and the lady said that this is what they do. They'll do something crazy like bringing those white Afrikaners over there. They know it's going to get the masses upset and start fighting, and while they sitting around stealing us blind. And that's basically what's going on. I mean, but I think he's bitten off more than he can chew. This may be while everybody's thinking, the $400 million jet and all that is going to undermine his presidency. No, this refugee status for these Afrikaners is what's going to undermine his administration. You are. People are getting ready to lose it over there. Okay? But America is what it is, guys. It's nothing changed. You got to realize apartheid was what's the word I want to use? Let's say it was mirrored or taken from the Jim Crow laws in America. The same with the Nuremberg laws. Those Nazis came to America and studied all that stuff, Jim Crow and all that stuff, and took it back. Okay? So what he's doing now, he's just doing it out in the open. He's not hiding it anymore. But it's not going to work on me. They're not going to make me angry and all upset and stuff like that, because there's no sense in you complaining if y'all going to do anything about it. Okay? But that's what's going to undermine him. People are upset about that. Okay? Well, in January, he shut all that refugee status and stuff down. Now, all of a sudden, he's elevating these white Afrikaners over everybody else. People who really need refuge in America. Yeah. Okay, says I fell for the trap. I sent the Panay money for load, then money for rent. Now she's saying her phone is broken and needs a new phone. Yeah, but here's the thing, guys. All the women aren't like that. You're meeting the wrong ones. If she starts asking for money, you need to, first of all, you don't even know how to go on the dating site and find a real woman. Everybody on there is not real. Okay? We're making it too easy. There's ways you can find out the woman's real. And listen, if the woman's asking you for money, man, she's not real, okay? I'm sorry. And she's not scamming you. You're scamming you. Okay? It's your own trap that you set for yourself. It's 55.76. It's inching up. He said Bitcoin is a scam. Yeah, I'm just saying that when do you cash out? Okay, if he's bragging about it being over 100,000, then cash out and get some money then. Don't just brag, oh, it's 100,000 again when it was down to 75 not long ago. Okay, you done make 25,000 or whatever it is if you got one Bitcoin, which very few people I know even have a Bitcoin. They have bits of a Bitcoin. He said you get big returns, but also tend to get NAV decline, although Misty is holding up well so far until it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, you got to practice patience, but what I'm saying, okay, you came on here and said, oh, Bitcoin is north of 100,000 again, you know, I'm happy. Okay, so what are you happy about? Have you made any money? Are you just sitting there watching it like a lot of people do? They go up and down. Yeah, but we're overlooking all of this, Leo's mix, as if, you know it's in the Constitution. He's not supposed to be making deals to enrich himself and his family while he's in office. But he's doing it. Nobody cares, so it is what it is. Okay? 400 million jet, they're getting ready to buy 2 billion. He's getting ready to go over here to Qatar and all those places, and they're gonna spend 2 billion. They're gonna buy 2 billion in his meme coins and stuff like that. But we're just sitting around watching it. You know, nobody. I mean, don't argue with me though. Everybody sees what's happening over there. Don't argue with me about it. I'm not gonna argue with you. You can interpret it any way you want. Moments with Mitch on that live stream I made. He gotta have the nerve to say, yeah, Cal, they're being killed over there. Dude, you're lying. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just regurgitating what you hear. Trump actually said on national television, probably international news, and said it was a genocide going on over there, guys. Okay? That white folks are having genocide on them in South Africa. That's a lie. It's exactly what Elon Musk said a year ago. But y'all don't listen. You're not looking. There ain't no genocide going on over there. But he won't say it's a genocide that's going on in Sudan or the Congo or the Gaza Strip. But you're telling me that those people, those privileged white folks from South Africa who are descendants of the originators of the founders of apartheid, who took all of that land from black people over there and killed off a lot of black people and everything. These are their descendants, guys. They become the darlings of this white wing stuff. Man, y'all better be careful. It's just crazy over there. He said, yeah, that's a huge house. He said, don't need that big of a house for real. But the thing would be, they could, okay, it's 4 of them, him, his wife, and 2 sons. Okay, you're talking about an investment when you buy your house, because it's either too small or too big. His problem's going to be, man, war, is trying to build a house. When he sees how much house he's going to get for $7 million over here, after he buys the lot and the house, he may rethink that. Okay, because you only live in 1 or 2 rooms anyway. But once he sees how much house he's going to get for $7 million, he may rethink that and run back over there and buy that house. You know, because this is what I was trying to explain to him. Okay, I've got a friend here who, well, y'all know I did the video on You Dirty Puppy. Remember his house he built for $5 million, $1 million for the lot, so it was $6 million. He got a 160 square meter house on a 170 square meter lot. Okay, nice place, right? But remember, 160, so it's a third of the size of what that guy, the house the guy was looking at. And remember, this house has been around for about 15, 16 years, something like that. So it's already settled, you know, 485 square meter lot. The lot itself, if you were just to try to buy the lot, it would be over 5 million pesos. Because where he's living, they're talking about 11,000 pesos per square meter. Okay, but you can't tell people what to buy. It's their money. But once he sees, he's already saw what he can buy in McCullough for 6 or 7 million. Practically nothing. Okay. When he sees what he can get for 7 million over here with the lot and everything, okay. He said, yeah, I mean, land disputes get people in a lot of shit over there. Yeah, that's why you have to make sure they're clean. Once they're clean and they go through the courts, there's nothing they can do. That's why you check first, TJ. See, that's what Maryland does. Maryland's an expert at that. Okay? You have to do that first. You have to make sure you got a clean title. There's no way they can hide that. Okay? Yeah, but they're over there he's making fun of the attorney. I guess Angelo Habib can do that because they've got more of a reasonable leader than we've got. But that would be like calling the pot calling the kettle black. If I'm talking about the attorney and I got this guy in office in America, come on, man. I mean, it's really bad. Come on, let's take a shoulder. So now, okay, I've got a whole different camera setup and everything, the IT consultant. Okay. Fool with it. Okay. Fool with it the way you want. Okay. It's always going to be something. Okay.
Okay, come here.
Y'all understand, y'all hold us to such a high standard, man. I don't have a team of engineers and all that these other big channels have. I'm just out here in my bedroom talking to my friends, basically. He said the U.S. Army trained Saddam and all of them, man. But when our foreign policy says something else, your ass has got to go. But history don't matter to Americans, Derek. We think everything just started today. The history don't matter. He says strongman dictator types generally crack down on crime initially until their fascist tendencies start oppressing the general public. Yeah, Duterte was basically just in Davao. It worked in Davao. Okay. Was it going to work nationally? I doubt it. But honestly, to be honest with you, a lot of that petty crime and stuff like that, when he was the president, man, it disappeared over here. I was living during his presidency, man. I'm just telling you what I noticed. And when I talk to Maryland, and it's just about everybody I talk to, they'll say the same things. They're like, man, these old drug crimes and stuff like that. Am I agreeing with his tactics? No, I'm telling you that there's a difference. And you can see it. Yeah, that's all they're doing. I mean, it's a blatant. They're doing this on purpose, guys. For a president and for a president, for Donald Trump, the president of the most racist country that's ever existed on the planet, to use the race card to justify bringing those white South Africaners to America on refugee status. Man, we're in some type of twilight zone, guys. Okay? This is what's going on right now, man. We're living in perilous times over there. They're trying to push something. There's a narrative they're pushing over there, man. Okay? I mean, when they do it so blatantly like that, and then he's going to get on television? This is our president. It says that genocide is being committed on them. Who actually believes that? Who actually believes that? The audacity of him to do that and all the other stuff he says. That's like the straw that broke the camel's back. And anybody on here who follows that clown and agrees with what he said, you can unfriend me, you can stop following me. I don't care. I don't want you around me. Okay, none of them is any good, but this guy certainly is doing some stuff that you can't argue, you can't take up for. Maybe it's my, what's he saying? Back camera mic is really harsh. What are you talking about? The last one or this one? Maybe it's my computer. Maybe it's a computer. Let me see something. What's it sound like to everybody right now? Does it sound different than what I was just on here Monday? He said, good day, Cal. It looked like you survived Kentucky and made it back safely. Yeah, I did. But, people want to push back at you. The only thing worse than racism is racism deniers. Look, man, I'm 60. I'll be 62 in 2 weeks from today. And since I've become an adult and I really understand what's going on in the world, this is some of the most blatant shit I've ever seen by a U.S. president. I mean, it's our foreign policy in America is racist. Okay? But when you come in office and you shut the whole refugee thing down, then all of a sudden you get Elon Musk involved in Doge and he's all in your ear. Then in February, you sign an executive order saying, hey, we're going to give these people privileged refugee status because their genocide is being committed on them. Come on, man. Crazy. I'm glad I'm out of there. He said, I'll send Curly and Shirley money before I send money to a woman that I never met. Well, you're saying something because we're always wanting to blame it on the woman. The woman's just asking. All you got to do, remember, it's easy to say no in the beginning, guys. She's a stranger. But once you become involved with her and you become emotionally entangled, now it's going to be hard. You're going to feel obligated. So when guys are sending money like that in the beginning, shame on you. But don't blame it on the woman. She's just asking. You can politely say, no, I don't feel comfortable right now. Wait until I meet you. Or what were you doing before you met me? Or how are you surviving now? Okay, but to send a woman 100 pesos, it's going to cost you more. How are you even sending her 100 pesos? Because guys like, oh, only send her enough for a load. How are you doing that? Unless you got Gcash. But most of you guys don't have Gcash. So I'm calling bullshit on that. Oh, I'm just sending her a little bit for a load. Now, well, hell, if you use Remitly, they're going to charge you what? $4.99 up front. And then they're going to charge you on the exchange rate. So if you send $20, it's going to cost you about $8 to send $20. Certainly if you send money Western Union is going to charge you what, $10.99 or something? Come on, guys, who y'all think y'all talking to? Oh, I'm just sending her a few hundred pesos. How are you doing that? Talk to me over here. Maybe I can do it. Unless you got Gcash when you were over here before. Okay. Yeah, it don't take long, though, Angelo, to get that. But I would go on and get it out of the way now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the whole thing about insider trading and all of that. Okay, so for W Secret to Success to come on here and brag, so no over 100,000, well, you should back that up with saying, yeah, I cashed out, I made 25,000 or whatever it is. Okay, or I sold my, I made some money, I earned some money, not just on paper. Yeah, and it's all subjective, but my thing was, I never said he wasn't any good. I said that Shadur Sanders and his ability and Shadur Sanders' ability was similar to me, in my opinion. He didn't tear up the league. What's up, Don? He said nothing's backing up the U.S. dollar, too. He said, they're trying to tell you, Cal, that you're not seeing what you're seeing and that your fact is not real when you can clearly see it. Yeah. See? This is what has gotten under my skin more than anything else. They're saying that's not racist, what he's doing. Well, what is it? He sit there on television and said they're being persecuted over there. How can they be persecuted? They inherited all that land from their parents and grandparents who stole it illegally from the black farmers. These are descendants of Dutch and French. The Boers over there, okay, they settled in South Africa. But history don't matter. Now Elon Musk comes in, who he claims he's not an Africaner. Okay? But he comes in, y'all think I'm playing. Search this on YouTube. There's an interview when Don Lemon interviewed Elon Musk. And they were talking about immigration and stuff. This was over a year ago. And Elon Musk said this. Well, white people are being, there's genocide being committed on white South Africans. Do you care anything about that? He said that out of his own mouth. Okay. So he's the one put that in Trump's head. Those people, they don't know what genocide is then. Evidently. But yeah, you're right, Brock's Big Adventures. They'll tell you, a grown man who's in his right state of mind, eyesight's work and everything, that what you're seeing is not what you're seeing. You're making it up. You didn't fight the Ku Klux Klan, Cal, when you were going to school in the 7th grade. You're dreaming. You're a victim, they'll say. Bullshit. He said, Cal, I just bought my ticket. I'm going to Baguio to meet up with my ex. She's been sending me houses for sale. A lot look like yours. I'm not falling for that trap. Yeah, I wouldn't. Not right away, man. Don't make any rash decisions, guys. Okay? I'm sorry. He says, and this is true, but remember, we're so dumbed down. Trump said on his news conference, he said, oh, the genocide over there, he said the news isn't covering it. Now, you're going to tell me if white folks, if genocide is being committed against white folks anywhere in the world, that the white media is not going to cover it? Come on, Trump. He called that a genocide, man. I got no respect for him. And then a guy that used to come on my channel, I forgot his name, he says, oh, you're illogical when it comes to Trump. No, you're illogical. Okay, and anybody agrees with that stuff, you can unfollow me already. You know, I'm not a racist, but I don't want racists around me. He's clearly exhibiting racist behavior. And if you buy that stuff, because guess what? Not only are they flew over here on a chartered plane, but now we're going to set them up. We're going to roll out the red carpet and give them everything they need on a silver platter. Meanwhile, there's people over in America who are suffering. Okay? So y'all going to see that he's going to put them over you. But they're going to get a wake-up call if they think they're going to be privileged in America. He said, whites in South Africa are doing well. The majority will never leave South Africa. There's a whites-only town, and they don't even pay tax. They have their own economy. But you can't tell people that here, not in America. You can't tell them that. Okay, hey, what's up, Raj Bahai? Says, what's up, Sunshine Show? Okay, now he says, I'm not selling till I need the money. So y'all just like watching it go up and down then, I guess. Can't you just sell, if it's at such a high rate, can't you just sell, you know, where you're going to make some money, where you're back to, you know, your original investment or whatever it is? He said, and it's high enough. What's the highest Bitcoin's ever been? He said, no different than a stock. He said, selling 1/10 of a Bitcoin when I'm 50 plus after all these companies have it north of 100,000. Okay, but what I'm saying is it going to stay there though? It doesn't mean to sell all of it. But I mean, it's not good times if you're not, if it's not being advantageous to you. You're just saying it because it's on paper. He said, exactly, they're mad because there isn't an advantage any longer for them in South Africa. The playing field was leveled. They were not kicked out or physically attacked. They're returning stolen land. But no land has been taken from them, Mopar. This is the false narrative that Trump and all of them is being. No land is being taken from those people. Okay? Y'all have to understand that apartheid, man, was second only to slavery. Okay? Somewhere on the same as that Nazism that was going on during World War II. It's some cruel, diabolical shit. These are the descendants of that. Now all of a sudden, we're supposed to feel sorry for them and we're going to give them special treatment? How dare the President of the United States do that? But don't let it surprise you, though. Because they learned all of that from America. Oh, this is the post-racial society. Bullshit. You're crazy, man. That's what makes me mad. When people try to talk to you like you're crazy, like you're stupid. That's right. This is exactly what I said. myself. They're doing that to say, okay, look at this. Why they're stealing you blind. Okay, what was the last on this meme coin investment of Trump's? 58 people or 58 wallets earned 10 million or more in this clown meme coin, while over 750,000 people lost. Okay. He says it's better to build instead of purchase a home, but it all depends on the circumstances. In that situation, it wasn't. That's a 485 square meter lot, Michael Dorsonville. That lot itself, we added it up, was 5.3 million pesos if they just sold the lot without the house on it. Because where that's located, it's like 11,000 pesos per square meter. So you're talking about that house, because it wasn't a whole lot. I'm going to say the house was 425 to 400, about 425 square meters. Okay, in great shape. Okay, you're not going to build anything near that. But if it gives you satisfaction, some people just want the satisfaction of saying, okay, I designed this house. This is exactly the house I want. But they're not going to get anything near that for 7 million. You dirty puppy for 6 million, he got a beautiful home, but hell, it's only 160 square meters. He said people don't even know the orchestrator of Pearl Harbor attack was educated in the U.S. And I know that Ho Chi Minh studied in the U.S. Okay, no, I don't take it like that. I'm just saying that, I'm eventually going to get me a better camera. It could be my computer. Because remember, this is all going through my computer. But it's got to say, I never had any criticism using this camera. It was only when I switched to that new camera that people say, hey, Cal, you sound funny. And I was listening to it, and it did sound different. But you could still understand me clearly. But eventually, I'm going to get it, and I'm talking about eventually, like in the next week or so, I'm going to get the microphone and everything. I'm going to get it all set up. And I'm going to move my studio over to the guest house. Yeah. This is true. Yeah, he says, I don't see any issue. And some people, it just all depends. Like he said, he's a streamer too, so maybe he's used to a certain quality. But hell, that's part of my appeal. I'm just raw. I don't have all that fancy equipment and stuff because that will do you any good anyway. The information I'm sharing and my experiences I'm sharing is going to help you more than any fancy background and stuff. What's up, Juice? He said, yeah, the sound is perfect. Now he says it's too loud. Now he says it sounds good. He said, it sounds normal enough, but I do hear the gain at the tops. Yeah. I mean, eventually I'm going to, I'll get it right because I want to get it right. He said, depends on how good. Yeah, it's just a bit louder. Yeah, everything's loud and clear. He said, hey, he never gets up and talk about Medicare with people. What people really need, Cal. One day people are going to get sick. I never seen anybody like this in my life as a president. He doesn't talk about anything like that because he's a billionaire. He's out of touch, man. He's only doing things for him and his cronies. You can't argue that. He hasn't done anything in his first 120 days or whatever to benefit just the working class people. But they're going to keep saying, well, give it time, give it time. Look, when people show you who they are, believe them. It's not going to be any, give it time. Yeah, Curly and Shirley. Yeah, he better give money to them. Okay, see, he's giving us some information today. He said putting money for a load on a phone number is made with an app called Dean. So they don't charge you anything? It's free? Only for a load. I don't buy that. I don't buy that, man. Because that's only going to lead into something else. Okay? Remember this. I already told you. They're going to start out asking the little stuff. The load. 1,000, to buy the diapers and the milk. She's setting you up. You're not responsible. You're not obligated. Just wait till you get over here and say, okay, I'll be over there, then we'll go from there. It's not online dating, guys. It's online chatting. Always remember that. This is a play on words that they use to mix us up. You're not dating anybody online. You're chatting. You're trying to get to know each other. That's all you're doing. That's the extent of it. That's as far as it's going to go. Even if you both are playing peekaboo, it means nothing. You can't reach out and touch it. You can't taste, touch, and smell it. It's not real. And they're liable to say anything just like you are. He said, you have to learn to say no over here. Don't feel bad. People are going to try and get what they can from you nicely. Yeah, but if you're in a situation, Rob, where you're constantly saying no, then you're in the wrong situation. I don't say no. Very seldom does anybody even give me the opportunity to say no. I mean, where are y'all living? Who are y'all dealing with where you have to say no all the time? Okay, a lot of times that stuff is going on online. They're too ashamed to ask you in person. And if you're with a woman who's comfortable enough to be asking you for money, look, I've been with Marilyn for 6 years. Marilyn's never asked me for nothing. She doesn't have to. I don't think she'd be comfortable asking me for money. Believe it or not. But I can't say no to the electric bill. I just got the water bill. I can't say no when they put this on my fence out there, guys. I'm going to have to change to my damn phone. I don't know what's going on with this old stupid computer. The battery's not charging. I'm going to have to take it and see if I can get it looked at. But yeah, it's just easy to say no in the beginning when you're still strangers. I mean, okay, imagine you're going to say, if you ask her, this is the equivalent of her asking you for money in the beginning. If you say, hey, show me your pussy when you first meet her, okay? Just always think that, okay? That would be crazy, right? Okay, yeah, well, it's going to be crazy if she asks you for money that soon. It's going to be like, what? That's the equivalent of you asking her to get butt naked the minute that you start chatting. People are crazy, man. But I don't know, like I said, everybody's different. I don't see why people are saying no so much. Okay. Let me scoot this over. I'm getting ready to get started. Now they're over there. They're finishing up They're finishing up my towels back there. Okay. All right. I'm back. Now this is my phone. Now if y'all say, "Oh, you're tinny, you're loud," I try to use my computer when I'm doing StreamYard because StreamYard is so crazy when it comes to certain things. He said no because Filipino is in a word. And you know, people say my Filipino and all that and stuff, you know. He said, do they give temporary visas for trying to learn Filipino in the Philippines? They don't. But hell, if you're over here for 3 years, you got a tourist visa where you can visit the Philippines for 3 years. You should, if you earnestly trying to learn the language, I mean, how much longer do you need? And if you need longer, then fly to Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand for 2 or 3 days and come back and start the 3 years over. You know. But yeah, it's true, Mobar. That when a woman asks you something like that, and then if a woman does, then you know that's a red flag. If you say, "Yeah, show me that," and she showed it to you, then you know who you're dealing with. But I think it's a man. I don't even think it should even become part of the conversation anymore. Just sending money and stuff. But it hangs around. It hangs around. It's as if we feel obligated. It's like, okay, well, if I don't give her any money, I'm going to lose her. Well, okay, then get back on there and find somebody else. Or just get your butt over here. You know, y'all want to keep on chatting with these women, you know, as if you really um, in a relationship with her. You're not in a relationship with, you can't have a relationship online. That's why I said, you know, the people like Thomas Marshall, TJ, Michael B. July, and all the ones that I've had, Roger Walker, Confident Boy Speech, Kamal, all the guys who I've really met in person, you know, it's different than chatting with people, even people like Cisco and Golden Gate and I Love the Child. People have been on following me for years. It's different though, because I really haven't seen you before. It's the same with these women y'all chatting with. Okay, now it sounds good, but yeah, I'm on my phone now. Thank you, Lord. I'm gonna get it fixed, guys. I promise. It may just be the computer. It's an old computer now. Yeah, Filipino. Yeah, he says. Well, you know, it's just like I asked a lady that one time. She called me a Negro, and I was like, "Well, why are you calling me a Negro?" I said, "Where do Negroes come from?" And she said, "Nigeria." You know, because you know, I guess when you talk about, you know, Chinese come from China, Japanese, you know, Filipinos come from Philippines. So she said that's why, you know, they called me a Negro because I'm from Nigeria. I said, well, I'm not from Nigeria, man. I'm from America. He says, I see now. When she sees money, we see that. Yeah. It's like that's how crazy it is for somebody to ask you for money. When you first cut on the camera, some of them will ask you. I mean, within 5 minutes of you talking to them, oh my, you know, my baby's sick and stuff like that. You know you can't take them serious. Because the guy said, well, 99% of the women online are scams. Scammers. No, they're not. I would say I would say 10 to 15%. Okay, I could be off a little bit, but not that much. Y'all understand that most of the men you see over here with women, I'm gonna turn that around and say 99%. They met online. There's good women online if you know what you're doing. But you don't know what you're doing. You think you can just get on there and all Filipinos are the same and everything. It's not. Every relationship you see, more than likely, they met online. It's a few, but the majority over here, no. I'm sorry. They met online. He says, I can hear clear. I can hear very clearly. Yeah. Well, I'm not Ed Bradley. This isn't CBS or ABC or ABS, CBN or anything like that. But eventually, I'm going to get it to that point. But it's not going to change anything. He said, you got to be careful dealing with those ladies online. My suggestion is wait until you get to the Philippines. Well, a lot of guys, that's good. That's good advice. But a lot of us guys, you know, we're still not going to, we're not going to meet them when we get over here. Okay. We don't know who to approach. We don't know if they're single, if they're married, whose daughter is it? Whose wife is this? Will she even speak to me? Does she date foreigners? Because only a small percentage of Filipinos date foreigners. So we go online because we know they've already said, okay, I'm online basically to meet a foreigner. I don't have a problem meeting you. Because if you meet a regular, ordinary Filipino on offline, you got to go through the courting process, man. See, the women that we meet online, they've thrown that out the window. They say, okay, you don't have to court me like a local. Okay, but if you meet a woman like Dawsonville, that's just, the typical Filipino that's not online, doesn't have a profile, you see at the mall, whatever like that, man, you got to court her, man. There ain't no, you don't get the girlfriend treatment. And if you are able to meet a woman offline, boy, the chances are that she's got a profile online. That's all. Guys aren't going to approach these women, man. Beauty still intimidates us over here and over there in the West. But you will talk to her online. It's sort of like to break the ice. You just got to know what you're doing. You got to know what to look for. She's chatting with 3 or 4. You got to chat with 3 or 4. But we fall in love with the first pretty face we see. We lock in on one woman, and that's it. You cheat yourself. You don't know if she's real or not. But I guarantee you, if you chat with 3 or 4, you're going to get a good one. You're going to get a real one. I'm telling you from experience. Okay? I've never had a dud online. I've met all the women I've ever had or ever dealt with. Only one I didn't. That was the dreamer. And you see how that turned out. Okay? But every other woman, man, that I've ever had, talking about wonderful women that will make any man a good wife. I met online. Educated, ambitious, going somewhere in life, basically, as far as they can go. They were online. They wasn't in the street. You don't have to do that. You're taking a big chance, man, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. Have you ever been to a nightclub, everybody's partying, and the good song comes on, and you walk all the way across the floor to ask the woman, you just know she's bopping in the chair. You just know. I'm going to ask her to dance. She's going to say, yeah. And she said, no. And now everybody's watching. Now you got to walk all the way back and sit down, with your tail between your legs. That's what's going to happen to you over here. Because they're not going to let you meet them out in public. They're afraid. But, you can try it. I mean, anything's possible. Does it happen? Of course it happens. Sometimes men, they get introduced, to other women, like somebody's sister or cousin or something. But I'm not gonna tell you to wait till you get over here. That's a that's good advice, but more than likely it's gonna take you. If you got 2 weeks and you come over here and you try to meet somebody without meeting them online, good luck. Your 2 weeks is gonna fly by, and you probably never meet anybody. Hey, Sam W, thanks for that super chat. He said some men I feel want the attention with no intention to meet. Hell, my cousin thinks this Russian is his girlfriend after AI found her popping it online. Yeah, you're right. Some guys just for companionship, Sam. Really, they have no intention of ever coming over here. They're basically paying the woman for her attention and for her time. I'm just talking to the guys who really are going to come over here. You know, there's no need to get in a hurry like that because that's the last thing you got to worry about. He says, for too long, they had my soul shackled into a state of servitude. I'm not going to allow them to control my sexual urges anymore. Yeah. He says, I like a mixed bag. Online supplements, all those IRL experiences. What do you mean with women? Because I know you got a good woman. Y'all bet online. If that's what you're talking about. Most of the guys over here, man, they meet the women online. They don't know who to approach. Are women over here easy to approach? Yeah, they are, but they'll feel bad telling you they've got a boyfriend already. A lot of them have boyfriends already. If they look good to you, they're going to look good to the Filipino man. He's got the inside track, not you. I'm talking about the typical woman. Why even put yourself through all of that? Just get online and do what the successful people do. You just got to be real picky online. We wait until, it's just like you driving around all day. You keep looking at your gas tank. It's on E, man. Go on and pull on over and get you some gas. Now we wait to the last minute. We get desperate. We're lonely. And they get you. Instead of when things is going good, now you get on there. You can take your time. I got a full tank of gas. I can take all day. But now we wait until, your balls is on fire. You know, every woman you see is a fantasy. Hey, Big John Stutter, thanks for the super chat. He says, I was going to sign up for Christian Filipino, but it costs $2,000 for the whole year. Yeah, I heard that. Somebody said 2,900. Now, that's crazy right there. Okay, when Dating Asia is free, most of the places is what, $9.99, $14.99, $19.99. Some of them might be $29.99. You only need a 1 month membership. You don't need a lifetime or 1 year. Because I had a guy come and stay in the guest house. He's a good guy too. He's from South Carolina. He bought a lifetime membership to Christian Filipino. I'm like, why? Okay, I could meet a woman in 1 week. I could probably meet one with all the experience I've got online now. I don't care how many years have passed since I've been online. Because I know what to look for. I know how to play the game. You think just because you log into the site and the woman's on. So I wouldn't deal with a woman if I log in and she's on there already. All them green lights up there, meaning they're online. Okay, I wouldn't touch any of them. Or when I log in, I'm getting inundated with messages. I ignore all of that. I set my filters. If I'm going to Cebu, I'm setting my filters. Okay, 21 to 35. Okay, 25 kilometer radius from Cebu. A single mother. It doesn't matter religion. I'm doing that and I'm punching it. Now only those women are going to show up on my feed. Now I'm going to show up on everybody's feed because it's 18 to 80, blind, crippled, crazy. But then when the women showing up on my feed that fit my filter, I'm going to go through there and I'm going to pick out 10 just regular looking women, not 15s, not 10s, just typical women over here. They're going to look better in person. You do that. You shoot off 10 emails or messages. Hey, I'm John. I'm interested in you. You just wait. But there's one thing I left out. You always going to be with the ones that are going to say haven't been seen in 24 hours or 48 or 72 because they're probably working. They're probably going to school. They're probably busy. You know, they don't have any money to get online and just sit there online waiting for somebody. And soon enough, those 10, about 3 or 4 of them are going to contact you. Those are the ones you deal with. 99 times out of 100, those are going to be real. It's worked for me every time. The only time I got lucky was the first time I came because I didn't know anything about the dating sites. The 2 women I met were actually real women, but one of them happened to be married. And you don't want that. He said, Cal, how do you, with all of the associate, how do you do with all the associate parts over there? Trying to control what you do in the bedroom. I had a guy extort me for photos. I sent the photos and he sent them to my family. I don't deal with that. But, like I said, I've been with my woman for 6 years. I can trust her. I don't deal with all this stuff. You got to be careful. I mean, why are you sending pictures to somebody you don't even know? Now, has that happened to me? Yeah, but I said, look, I told the woman, I said, okay, go ahead. I don't care. If you want to release that, it's just showing me, smashing, pounding, and it's nothing freaky, really. You know, because a lot of women over here, for some reason, I don't know why, they like to film things while you're doing something. They don't mind if you say, hey, let's film it. They don't mind. I made the mistake. But normally I put it on my phone. It was really on my phone. And she said, oh, let me see it. Send it to me. And, because I'm going to erase it. But she didn't erase it. Okay. And so then when things went left, oh, I'm going to show it. Oh, show it. You just showing me, beating you unconscious. The Sunshine Shoulders beat down. That's all. They can't see my face clearly. Certainly can't see your face. I could argue that one. I could beat that in court. He said, Cal, this exit clearance process is crazy. It's really not, Thomas. He said, why do they put us through so much crap to leave the Philippines? It's really easy for real. It's only like, what? I think I had it on my phone because Kai sent it to me. It's really not that hard, guys. I promise you. Okay. If you go to, certainly if you're in Manila, I just did it. And when did I do that? March. I just did it. It was simple. Didn't we do the exit clearance? Wasn't it simple? It was easy. I did it all within, it didn't take me, Thomas, what would you say? We had to come back for one thing. We went and ate lunch and came back. So I would say altogether, maybe an hour, but it was only, okay, we needed the ACR card. We needed where you extend it, because you should be extended before you get ready to leave. Your last extension, I think four, was it 4 2x2s or 2 2x2s, and a copy of your plane ticket. I mean, that was nothing. It's nothing, guys. Y'all listening to these bloggers, that's content. They're making you think it's really not hard. You could actually go to the airport now in Manila and get it done. They'll tell you to go 12 hours before. You don't have to go that long. You could actually get that done at the airport. Plus of course you got to have a copy of your biological page on your biography page on your passport. Showing actually showing your entry when you came into the Philippines. But no, it's not hard, man. It's not hard. And remember, they do all this stuff. It's really genius, Thomas, when you think about it, because the Philippines doesn't get the tourism numbers that Thailand, Malaysia, and all those other places get. So they make up for it. People say, oh, it's just because they're slow. No, they're smart to do that. They get it another way. Those exit clearances, the immigration fees, the express lane fees, all of that stuff, man. People over here are stupid. It's not like the genius skipped over the Philippines. But no, I wouldn't make a big deal out of that, man. It's not hard. It's easy. It's really easy to do. I mean, I promise you it is. It's nothing. Is it an inconvenience? Yeah, it's that. But it's not hard. No, it's not hard. But yeah, it's an inconvenience. But you know how to beat that, don't you? Stay here for 5 months and 30 days and then leave. You don't need it. You only need it if you've been here 6 months. And that's for their protection. You imagine, Thomas, because we never think about this stuff. Imagine all the trouble somebody could get into over here in 6 months. You may owe somebody. Somebody may have brought some charges against you. It's all kinds of stuff that you could get into in 6 months over here. They say, okay, you've been here 6 months. Let's make sure it's a clearance. It's an exit clearance. Let's clear your name. Let's make sure you're not in trouble over here. You're not wanted by the police and all that. You don't owe the hospital. You're not running out of here with a hospital bill that a lot of times people do. That's all it is. But hard, it's not. Inconvenience, yeah, it is. It's an inconvenience because you got to go through all this stuff, but it's not really that much. I couldn't believe how simple it was, The reason it was so easy is because we were at the main immigration office in Manila, and we were just going from window to window to window. We only actually went to, let's see, I had to extend, and while I'm extending, it just so happened that my ACR card had expired. They gave me my ACR card right on the spot because that's where they print them. It only takes you a long time if you live outside of Manila and they got to mail it and all that. Okay, I did all that. I had my photos. I had my, the print of, the copy of when I came to the Philippines, my entry stamp, and then my ticket to get out to leave the Philippines. Actually, it was something that we did wrong, and the guy helped us, didn't we? What were we missing? We were missing something. And he helped us. He said, no, you got to go to that window before you come to me. Hey, Sonny D, thanks for that super chat. He said, happy belated birthday to Maryland. Hey, thank you, man. She's standing right here. She's on her way to the funeral, man, today. And thank y'all so much, everybody who contributed to Rizelle's homegoing. It's her funeral's today. You know, Maryland's been going through it. I know, she is. Um, I'm laughing at what TJ said, not about Maryland. They were really close, man. They had gotten really, really close. They were together, right before it happened. Maryland, when they got off the elevator, Maryland went back to the condo with Booby and Sophia and her mother. They went toward the highway or the road. It was just that quick. And she was gone, man. He said, this ninja talking about pipe pressure watching. But yeah, Thomas, don't worry about that. That's nothing, man. Is it an inconvenience? Yeah, but it's not hard, guys. I promise you. He said, yeah, the Sunshine Shoulders beat down. That's all, you know. But don't be sending pictures and stuff to people, man, that you don't know. Of course they're gonna get you. They're gonna try to blackmail you. Why wouldn't they? You don't know who's on the other end over there. This is the stuff we do, though. Why do we do that, man of war? He said, yeah, you be tripping, my brother. I don't even know if he's real. Okay, all the stories he comes up with. You know, I'm skeptical of anybody, not just him. He wrote me a 10-page manifesto of what was wrong with the Philippines and why Thailand was so good. And I'm like, I only read I'm talking about it's the longest email anyone's ever written me, ever in my whole entire life. Because, I looked through, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why is he writing all this stuff? And it basically was just saying that, he was calling the Philippines a shithole and Thailand was utopian. It's like, look, dude, I've heard this argument so many times. Okay. What else is going on in your life besides that? But he said he lived in the Philippines 4 or 5 years. I don't know. Joseph Relaford says, I go through an exit clearance every year when I go home if you stay over 6 months. Yeah. It's really not hard. It's just an inconvenience. It's not hard. It's only like 4 things on that list, 4 or 5 things you need. And it's all copies. The only original thing you're probably going to need is your, your immigration where you extended. You don't need a copy of that, really. A copy of the front and back of your ACR card, because you've been here 6 months, you should have an ACR card. Your entry stamp, the passport photos, which they're going to use one of them for your ACR card, and then if you need it, and then your ticket, a copy of your ticket to get out of here. That's all. When I went the very first time I had an exit clearance, I was in Zamboanga. I mean, it was nothing. They do everything for you because there's nobody in immigration in Zamboanga. Okay, that's the fastest immigration in Zamboanga. Second is to Cloven. Third is Bacala that I've ever been to. But obviously, Zamboanga is just not a lot of foreigners there. You go in there, man. They knew me so well. I mean, even through COVID when I was there, you just hand them your passport and tell them what you're in there for. They fill out everything. All I had to do was sign it. But yeah, it's not hard. He said, I just got a problem with if I fall in love with a Filipino, I don't want them moving the whole family in my home cow. Well, that's not going to happen. I mean, why would that happen, Raymond? Okay. Don't you now that would be a situation where you would say no. Okay. I mean, but I don't know what kind of women y'all dealing with. The women that you see on these vlogs where these guys, all that's happening to these women are scammers, man, and these guys are fools. I keep going back to that vlog that Geo when he interviewed that guy, and the woman ended up with 6 kids. He claimed that he thought the woman only was single with no children. Look, dude, if you got a woman that had 6 children to come down that canal, you're gonna know it. But he comes to McAllen, and there's 12 people in a 2-bedroom. Come on, man. Okay, there ain't that much love in the world. I'm not paying another. I'm not paying another month rent. As a matter of fact, I'm out of there. Don't even unpack my bags. But a real woman over here. Look, here's what really happens over here. It's really the other way around. Y'all would be shocked if you knew the foreigners that were living with the Filipina and her family for whatever reason or not. Why don't we ever have that discussion? Okay, that goes on a lot. Where guys come over here, their money's on the fringes of not being enough. So they get the bright idea, oh, I'm gonna live with the woman and her family in the province. You'll be shocked at how many men are over here like that. Okay. But we never have that discussion. But no, that's an easy one. Because see, y'all don't understand. Filipinos are proud, man. Real Filipinos, they're not gonna ask you for shit. Okay, and the real woman, she knows she doesn't have to ask you. She knows that's your responsibility. You ought to know it's your responsibility. You in the Philippines, you're not in Las Vegas. Okay, you already know that the woman you're dealing with doesn't have a whole lot of money. Okay, you already know that. Why are you fooling yourself? Or why are you even putting it on par with a woman you would meet in your home country? It's not the same. But we want to act stupid. This is what I don't like. Come on, guys. There's certain things you already know going into the relationship, or you should know. And if you don't, shame on you. Woman ain't gonna ask you for no money. Why should she ask you for money? But more and more of us are trying to come over here and get something for nothing. Oh, I'm gonna pay. Some guy was on here talking about, oh, I'm not gonna date a woman. If we go out, it's gonna be Dutch. He's gonna date Dutch. We're going 50-50. Well, you don't need to come over here then. It's gonna go Dutch. Some of you guys are crazy. And it's just so one-sided because now I have to say that a lot of times bloggers were put under a lot of scrutiny. But for some reason you look in the mirror every damn day. Okay, you want a 10, but you a damn 2. We've turned the tables, okay? Them unrealistic expectations that women are putting on us in our home countries. We have the nerve to turn around and do it with the Filipino over here. Because remember, we're cut from the same cloth over there. That's why we can't get along. Women and men are too much alike over there. But we come over here and do it. Oh, Cal, she's got to have a good job. She's got to have a college education. No kids. To 25 years old. But you got 2 or 3 divorces, 3 or 4 children. You graduate from high school. You're fortunate enough that you're able to retire from the factory. And now all of a sudden, you want the perfect woman when you get over here. Hey, thank you, Marlon, for that super chat, man. I appreciate you, brother. I mean that. He said, Cal, sir, you always appreciated for everything you share. I don't think we tell you this enough. Keep it up. Your channel's great. Man, I really appreciate it, man. We talk face to face. I just share what I'm seeing, what I'm living, what I'm experiencing to try to help people the best way I can. A lot of what people should know is common sense, but we throw the common sense out the window, Marlon. We're asking these women to be perfect over here. We're not perfect. If you use your common sense, more than likely you're going to meet a good woman over here. You know, Merlin's got a college degree, a real college degree, a 4-year college degree. She's a professional woman. Okay? That's more than I could imagine. If here I am, a high school graduate, I got 1 year of college. No matter how much money I earn, imagine we're not even talking about how she looks or outward appearance or anything like that. We're just talking about that she's college educated and a professional woman. Now, what is my chances of meeting somebody like that in America without getting put through the ringer? It's not going to happen. They're going to think I'm not good enough for them. Yeah, we always put it on the Filipino, and I don't understand it. If you just come over here, man, first of all, get an idea. This is the credit you got to give vloggers. They give you some insight. They give you a general idea of what you're going to run into. I talk about my life. I don't talk about topics all the time. When you start talking about topics, man, people are going to take that for the truth, for the gospel. You know, I saw one guy today, and I met him before. Oh, dating has got out of hand over here, he's saying. It's bullshit, man. It's not true. Okay? First of all, you saying that, but I've never seen him with a woman. He gives me all of this dating advice, but you don't have a woman, man. Come on. So people who are watching this who've never been to the Philippines, they're, oh man, I knew it. The internet, they're saying, oh, we're westernizing these women and all that, man. It's not true. Okay, it's really no different. Certainly no harder than it was when I was coming over in 2009. But you gotta have conversation, persuasion. You gotta be a decent human being. You're not gonna have a problem at all. Okay, I'm sorry, you're not. But guys make those videos, and there's some truth to them, but it's not the 100% truth. More than likely, if you meet a woman online over here, remember, we get unlucky. We don't get lucky because the majority of the women that you're going to meet over here are good women. Okay, they know the reputation that Filipinos have, right or wrong. They already know it. So they're not going to ask you for money. Why? If you're a good man, so that you're going to run off and go in the other direction. If you got any kind of sense, they're not going to do that. But yeah, we'll blame it on them in a minute. Hey, Icy, welcome to the chat. I've got a friend over here. He's 90 years old, man. He's got a girlfriend. Let that sink in. Okay, so why are you worried about a woman? You need to be worried about more things over here. Can you really fit in over here? Is this the place for you? That's what you really should be worried about. Where am I going to live? How am I going to live? Am I going to learn the language or not? How much money am I going to need? Can I handle the heat and the weather over here? Am I going to be able to get the food that I like over here? Is there a gym near me? What can I do my walk? And how am I going to get my license? Can I get a license over there? Y'all put the cart before the horse. I love the child says, I went to a tiny apartment in Manila, and it was shocking to see how many people lived there. This was actually my first stop right after leaving the airport. Yeah, that's just life. That's reality over here. But as a foreigner, guys, we don't live like that. That's why when people talk about the Philippines, I'm like, well, where are you living? Is that a reality for a lot of people over here? Yeah, but it's not going to be your reality. Certainly not mine. When they talk about all the bad things Because there's nothing that I've seen in the Philippines that I haven't seen anywhere else in the world. And I've been to some places. And if you want to focus on that, which people do, that's their content. That's the extent of their comments. But I'm like, well, where are you hanging around? Okay? I live a Western lifestyle. Look at this. I got chicken wings cooking in the damn uh, air fryer right now. But no, we ain't got chicken wings today. What we got? We got beef steak. Okay, good beef steak. We had adobo yesterday, chicken adobo yesterday. I mean, boiled eggs is what I mostly eat for breakfast. Okay, we got plenty room here, and if it does get too crowded, I just go to the guest house. Merlin's got a brand new motorcycle out there, man. A nice motorcycle. You know, I just don't understand, why people, gravitate to that sort of conversation. I've never had a conversation about the infrastructure in the Philippines, man. I mean, it doesn't apply to me. I mean, I'm not a digital nomad. Even if I was, do you see me glitching in and out on here? I got good Wi-Fi here. I could work an online job here in this house in San Carlos City. I mean, we do that just to have something to compare and argue about, I guess. Because, beauty is beauty as far as I'm concerned. I don't understand it. Who? Which one? Oh, uh you talking about Mike Williams? Is that who you talking about? He said, sitting in a 5,000 baht a month shithole on the dark side of the patio, grumbling about how Cal is too well adjusted. 5,000. Mr. Lee told me he could get me when I was over there, I was like, hey, man, how much is a condo? He said, I can get you a condo. He said, one room with your own bathroom and with air con. He said, I could get you for 5,000 baht. He never showed it to me, though, TJ. But honestly, TJ was the first person who I used to go back and forth with about the infrastructure. But he's a younger guy, and that's his lifestyle. He's probably saying, well, there's not many rodeo drives in the Philippines, which, if you got the kind of money, listen to me, listen real closely to this. There's levels to the Philippines, just like it is everywhere else. If you got that next level money, you can live like that. Okay, you won't even skip a beat. You won't even realize you're in the Philippines. But most of us don't come over here with next level money. And even if we had it, we don't come over here to spend it like that. We're looking for somewhere in the middle. I know that my little 3,000, 3,500 a month, man, it's not going to go far in America, man. It's not going to go as far as it goes over here. This is why a lot of men are coming here now. They're not chasing women, but we want to stay stuck on this relationship narrative. Guys, people can't make it in their home countries. They can make it over here. They can make it in Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and have a little extra money left. That's how you make your money go further. You retire over here in Southeast Asia. A woman, man, I got guys, man. Look, Willard Whitfield, man. He could have any woman he wants. The man really did good for himself. He's single. He travels. He goes everywhere he wants. There's nobody to answer to. He's over here because he's from Vegas. He's like, man, my money don't go that far in Vegas. But we want to stay stuck on this relationship narrative, man. People are coming over here, man, for a better way for the cost of living. I'm sorry, but they are. I know as much as I care and love Maryland, you know, my big thing is living this good life over here for, you know, very little money compared to what it would be over there. I left in 2018, man. My rent was 900. That house I showed, that was a nice house in a nice neighborhood, but they were getting ready to go to 940. I guarantee you it's over 1,000 now. That's just for the rent. Icy says scammers and foods. That'll be a good topic. And that's why Tupou is there. Yeah. He gets a lot of that information, but remember, Tupou became popular on that negative stuff, basically. Okay, it's not on the good. You don't get the good stories, Icy. Nobody wants to hear about that, really. If you look in my library of videos, my videos that get the most views are just something negative. Oh, I got bad news for me and coming to the Philippines under 50. They're going to click on that. But if I say I got good news for me and under 50 coming over in the 50 over in the Philippines, they're not going to click on it. We're wired that way. We want to hear the bad stuff. We want to hear about the woman running off with 1,000,000 pesos from the man. And, you know, and all that. We just love to hear it. We don't want to, it's too boring to think, oh, wow, you know, look at him. He's 74 years old. He's got a 30-year-old woman. We don't want her, and they're happy together. She really loves him. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to see that story. Because even when we see it in our minds, oh, she's using him. He can't do anything in the bedroom. We're going to make it negative. So that's why I get it. People make those videos. Oh, dating is out of control in the Philippines. I wouldn't come here and all that, man. Y'all going too far. They call that OA over here. I'm sorry, I got to push back against that. That's not true. Hey, Cisco, thanks. Okay, I am. Thank you. You know, I was thinking that he was for real. Thanks for that super chase, that Cal Boot Mike Williams. I am. I should have known anyway when he sent me that long email. But then when he came on here, he was he kind of subdued, but now he's showing his true self. But yeah, I'm going to get rid of him now. Sorry, Mike. You know, when my long time when my long time followers tell me to get rid of you, I got to get rid of you. Hey, let's see. What kind of change? Look in there. Yeah, look in there. Yeah, he's gone. See you later, Mike. Stick that up in your behind. He's always talking about that kind of stuff. Where? In my thing, honey. You know, no, there. Okay, there. Should be something in there. Oh, let me see. What is it? Oh, let's see. Wait, I think that's yours.
Bago na sapatos na white.
Oh, what did you? How much money did you take?
I did not take anything.
No, that's right. I gave him money to them yesterday. I was getting ready to say I thought I left it in the pants and then. Well, how much do you need? Huh?
I know. I mean them because they need
what?
Cooling.
Oh, they need the gas? Oh, we ran out already.
Pila ko lang?
Okay, they cut. Well.
Huh? Aman.
He said, damn, I called straight. I'm trying to throw one.
White tanan.
Let me see. Give me that phone. Let me plug that phone up. And I'll send because Yeah, Mike was, he had me food, but like I said, pretty soon, um, people are going to show who they are. Thomas says, there's so many sweet people over here. I don't care about infrastructure. I just want to be treated with respect for a change. Yeah, that goes a long way. But see, this is what I say all the time, Thomas. You hit this on the nail on the head. People try to gloss over that when they say, "Oh, the Filipino people are so nice, they're so hospitable, they're so welcoming." Like that don't mean anything. That makes all the difference in the world. I don't care. Like I say all the time, I'll take the warm hospitality of the Philippines over the cold infrastructure in those other places. And some guys do it both. They'll come over here. They'll say all the Philippines is so bad, but then they'll come over here and marry a citizen of the Philippines. And then they'll take them everywhere they go. And I'm like, okay, make that make sense to me if the Philippines is so bad. But then you come over here and you marry a woman and take her with you. So you're taking a part of the Philippines with you everywhere you go. I'm you know, oh, okay, that's okay. Mike said sorry. Guys, late to the chat. I took care of the water guy. Happy belated birthday. I know it was your birthday the other day, but a lot of the viewers don't know, Mike. Let me see. I'm trying to get this. It's so hard for me to use this StreamYard on my phone because I got this share your referral link right in front of the. I don't know why they did that. See, look at that. I can't. I got barely just a little bit. I'm using my hand to see y'all's comment. They're trying to promote this, but it's funny how they doing it on the. Okay, Confident Voice Speaks. Thanks for the super chat. He says, I'm headed back to the U.S. again to visit my son. It should be great. I got Polaris seats again on United. Oh man, what's that? First class? It was way back the last time. I'm sure it was 2011 or 2012, probably 2011, when I got bumped up to first class coming back to the Philippines twice. It happened to me on Delta, but there was a 747, man. When are you headed back? It's just a long and boring flight, man. I would go home more. And it's just, man, that flight is brutal, man. And I want my kids to come over here one time just so they'll know what I'm talking about. Because they're thinking like, oh, just get on a plane and come home, Daddy. Yeah, I mean, it's long, man. It's boring to me. Hey, Ruby, welcome to the chat. It's just too long. Okay, David Russell. Yeah. Well, hell, I think Jacob Tanjay sleep over. Are the Houston Astros? Are they playing tonight, Jacob? I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I'm gonna get. Thank you, Cisco. Hey, I'm gonna even give Cisco a wrench. It's crazy. Yeah, he said some of these guys using and complaining about dating sites are the same ones who post what's the best Oppo phone I can get for 3,000 and other songs like can someone tell me how to call the US? Yeah, it's like I said, there was a guy earlier, his name was Dan. He said if for somebody to come 8,000 miles and live on a shoestring budget, they must be a moron. And I was like, dude, you don't know how truthful you said a mouthful. There's a bunch of morons that come over here. This is the moron capital of the world. And it's exactly what Michael Beecher Life is saying right here. It is a lot of guys, the ones who struggle like that, they probably are going to struggle no matter where they go. But yeah, he says, yeah, Cal, to come over on a shoestring budget. Man, they do it all the time. They come over here, they got good 2-week money. If they just stay over here for 2 weeks and that's it, don't get whipped. Because I'm telling you, man, if you're just a normal guy, I ain't talking about one of these infrastructure types, and you come over here to the Philippines and they roll out the red carpet like they always do. The sun is shining, man. You got the right woman next to you. You're going to get something's going to trigger you, and you're not going to want to go back when it's time to go back. And that 2-week money, you plan for 2 weeks. You're going to live comfortable. Now you're going to try to extend that for 3 or 4 weeks. That's a problem. It happens all the time. Or they go to the airport like I was, kicking and screaming. And you got grown ass men with tears in their eyes, man. And then you're there waiting on your plane to leave, and here comes the fresh batch of guys coming to the Philippines. I hate that. That's why I don't like leaving out of Manila, because they got that big glass screen up, and they walk right past you. They all excited. They done came up that long ass flight, and here you are. You're getting ready to get on it to go back. Oh man. He said, Cal. He said, what do you think of these guys who seem to prostitute their wives on their channel to get views? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen many that prostitute their wives. Who are you talking about? Because there's a lot of channels over here for some reason. When we talk about bloggers, y'all act like it's just a handful of bloggers. Man, there's probably at least, and you're going to think I'm joking, 1 million channels over here. You just don't see them, but who's doing that? I don't see that as much anymore. As a matter of fact, I don't see it much anymore. But what do you mean? Because they got on bikinis or something, or what? But if here's one thing that people don't understand, Paul, about YouTube. It's all about views. Why do people say, oh, they just do that for the views? Well, that's the whole point of YouTube, is views. And anybody that says they're not on YouTube for the views, they're lying. That's how you earn your money. That's how you, become, branded and all of that. You gotta have views. And I was just saying this earlier. It's strange about the scrutiny that vloggers in the Philippines go through. I don't think anybody else goes through what we go through. I mean, we're put under a microscope. You don't want us to earn money. Oh, he's making videos every day. Just the whole 9 yards, man. I'm like, come on. Oh, are you paying taxes? Do you got the right visa? He's working over there, But I really don't see that, Paul. You got to name some names, and then I can tell you about it. But the ones I watch, they either don't have a woman, or the woman that they have, maybe got her own channel. But I don't see that kind of stuff going on. I mean, but if they got the woman next to them, they're smart, because they know that's what's going to get you to click on the video. Okay, don't act like that's not what you want to see, Paul, because it is. We learned that during the COVID, the lockdown. Everybody knows how crazy we are about Filipinas. They don't have to do much. There used to be a young woman had a channel. I don't even know if she still got a channel anymore. She probably got married to one of these guys with a lot of money who said, hey, get rid of your channel. But all her and her friends used to do was splash around in the water in bikinis. That was every video she had. And she was getting 60, 70,000 views. No telling how much PayPal and buy me a coffees and all that she was getting. Come on, this isn't nothing new now. I mean, I think a lot of vloggers, a lot of viewers are pushing back because they knew that's what these women were doing. They were basically scamming us. They had no content really. The content was them and their friends. Remember all them channels was popping up? Man, these women passed me by like I was standing still. I still, I've got 68,000 subscribers. I'm happy, man. I'm thankful for that. But these women got 150, 130. And I'm like, well, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Yeah, that's nothing new, Paul. Come on. But you got to name some names because I don't know what you're talking about. He said, Cal, does your property have a main access road? I've heard that is something that is quite difficult to get in the Philippines. It actually does. Now, you got to realize something, David. I live in an undeveloped subdivision, Margarita Village Extension. Right across from me is Margarita Village, where we used to rent the house. They've got sidewalks, paved roads. They got the whole net driveways. Okay, but over here, even though it's undeveloped, you can access my property. It's going to be a rocky road though, because the city doesn't own this. If it did, we'd have street signs and all of that. But for the most of the subdivisions and in the city proper, yeah, there's no problem. You must be talking about in the province. In the province, yeah, you're gonna run into that. That's why, when people say, excuse me, that they want to live in the province, I'm like, well, do you really want to live in the province? Yeah, it's beautiful. But do you know enough about living in the province to say, oh, I can live there comfortably? Most of the guys and most of the men that I know who live in the province now, they spent considerable time in the city first before they even thought about going to the province. And then even in the province, they're living good. Sperling Edwards is the guy that comes to mind. He lived in Elo for about 2 years, and and now they're building a nice house, probably finished already, in the province, maybe an hour or two away. But no, we don't have any problems with uh, with having access to the property. He said, Cal getting distracted with the link. That is irritating, though, for real. What are you talking about, Icy? I don't understand. Oh, yeah, you talking about, yeah, that I am on my phone. Now, when I'm on my computer, Icy, I don't see it. But on my phone, it's right there where your comments are. I can barely touch your comment to move it up. And I don't know how to get rid of it. It just stays there. I tried clicking on it to share it, maybe to get it out of the way. It does. I can't do it. See, it's. I tried punching on it to maybe. Okay, let's see. Delete it. It won't go anywhere. Yeah, I probably do. You're right, but I don't want to take anything because Maryland's got something that's pretty strong that I could take, but that's something else. I don't want to be out and then, oh, here comes they to open up the emergency door and I got to jump out of the damn, what's that? You know, I want to be in my right mind. It's just that, it's just a boring trip, man. I always say to myself, Paul, I'm going to take something, but I never take it. Next time I go, I'm going to get that pill from Maryland, and about 4 hours before the flight, I'm going to take it. I never do. I just sit there and be bored. It's just a long ass flight, man. Hey, thanks, Thomas. He said, tell your lady we send our regrets out to her friend. It's sad what happened to that woman. I can't really talk about it, man. It's so tragic, Thomas. I mean, it's the worst thing I've experienced I believe since I've been here in the Philippines. Somebody that close to my house got killed like that. I mean, you just see the woman one day and the next day she's gone like that. Run over by a truck in the road, a road that I've crossed several times. Right there where they crossed, it's almost like an expressway. You really got to time those um, cars and trucks. But what I do, I wait till it's empty before I try to go across. See, ever since they told me what happened, I'm trying to envision it in my mind. Like, what happened? Did she try to run across? And maybe she mistimed how fast the truck was coming, or I don't know. He didn't see her. Whatever it was, that man was tragic. Imagine getting hit like that. The truck's going, full speed. I mean, it was ugly, man. And this is something that her family and her friends are going to, they're going to have to work through, man. It's going to take a long time. They were together when it happened. He said a 3-hour flight works my nerve. Yeah, so you can imagine. But after a while, they got it cut up. Like, depending on where you flying from and where you flying to. I'm flying out of Chicago, going to say Hong Kong this last time. They waited about an hour or two and then they served dinner. So, just doing all that, that's going to take an hour off the trip. You get done doing that, and then, I couldn't watch, this Cathay Pacific just didn't have a lot of good movies. Or it's not really a lot of good movies out right now. It's not like uh I don't think they even had a Marvel. Is there a Marvel movie out right now? There's just nothing I was interested in. So I played blackjack. I spin the damn jackpot, the slot machine, and then I played solitaire the whole time, man. Okay, the whole time. Okay, Ruby says, Cal, what do you think is the percentage of expats marrying single Filipinos without children, not single mothers? Yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably, or even having them as a live-in. I'm probably gonna say uh, I'm probably gonna say 70-30, because remember, a lot of the older guys coming over here, they really don't care that the woman has children. It doesn't make a difference to them, Ruby. It's the younger guys, and some guys care, and the ones who care, they end up with a woman, with a single Filipino without children. But most of us who come over here, that's really the equation. Like, well, how many of us, what percentage of expats that come to the Philippines care whether or not the woman is single or has children or is a single mother? I'm going to say 70-30. Most of us don't care, because a lot of times the women over here, they have 1 or 2 children, right? They're still better than any woman we're getting in our home country. And we've got 3 or 4 children at home. If I don't have any children, then I'm probably going to come over here and date a woman who doesn't have children. But honestly, Ruby, a lot of the men who come over here, we're not that shallow. It doesn't meet our plan, really. It's like, okay, like when I met Merlin had 2 daughters. It really didn't bother me. Because, hell, at that time, I had what? When I met Merlin, I had 6 children. I mean, it just didn't, it's not that big of a deal to some guys, and to some guys it is. But to think that every woman over here is a single mother, that's just not true. There's a lot of women that we know that don't have children for one reason or the other. Either they can't have children or they just haven't had them yet. I mean, a lot of them. But yeah, that's a good question. But so I would say 70-30. You know, because remember, I know. Okay, Michael Beach Alive. I can name you a lot of expats over here who are with single Filipinos. TJ that don't have children. Okay, all right. Take care. Uh, my friend I told you, he's 91. He's an expat. His girlfriend, I think, is 41 or something. She doesn't have children. Never had children. Um, my buddy here, who's 74, his girlfriend's 30. She don't have children. Never had children. Okay, it's a lot of men over here who are dating, but I don't think that those guys, now the two older guys, I don't think they would really care if the woman they're with now had children. But it's a lot of single women over here without children. They think that every woman you meet is a single mother over here. That's not true. He said, "Don't threaten me with a wrench, Cal. TJ would be upset." I think TJ don't be paying attention. Hell, TJ half the time be asleep when we do these live streams. But yeah, that's a good question. But honestly, it doesn't. Okay, when I met my wife, my Filipino wife, I was married for 10 years. We were happily married. We would still be married to this day. We never had any problem. She didn't have children. She was 24, about to turn 25 when I met her. Yeah, 2010. She was getting ready to turn 25. She was single, single. Now my girlfriend before her, she had one son, but the mother took care of the son in the province. It's just not. I don't think it's that big of a deal, really, because like I said, Ruby, uh, now a lot of the men are coming here more for the cost of living. Believe it or not, now that would be that's still like what percentage of men are coming in here for. That percentage is getting bigger. We're coming here for cost of living versus coming here to meet a woman. It's still probably 80-20 or 85-15, but that 15% is growing. The priority is the cost of living now. It's not the woman because they eventually going to meet somebody over here. But I know a lot of guys over here now who don't have a woman. They're really single. He says, I wonder if Cal can understand Tagalog now, if there's any other dialect. I can. I can understand Bisaya. But Gamay Long, because I'm going to tell you what, Icy. A lot of times I don't want to know what people are saying. Okay, I just don't want to know. The less I know, the better off I am. I know enough to be respectful, and say, okay, your culture does matter. I'm not just here trying to, ignore the culture and live 100% on the outside. No, I and most of the Messiah that I do know, Maryland taught me 99% of it. For some reason, the other women I was with, they either didn't see that as a priority or whatever it was. What's up, Drew? But yeah, I can understand Messiah. And then remember, I'm an insurance agent, so I'm always listening. I can tell just about what somebody's saying by their emphasis on the words they're using, their tone, and then I started listening. Okay, well, what's that? And I asked Merlin, well, what did she say then? If they're excited, if they're angry, if they're happy. Because Booby, remember now, Booby speaks it. So a lot of times I ask Merlin, well, what is she talking about? Because Booby will come in here and sometimes she'll, okay, like socks. I forgot what they called socks. But Booby was telling me, he's like, Daddy, those are your, whatever the word for socks is in Messiah. And I was like, well, what is that? And Maryland told me. But yeah, I can a little bit. But a lot of times I don't want to know what people are saying. You know, if they saying anything behind my back, I don't want to know. It keeps me out of trouble. They'll be saying blah 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 Negro, and I know they're talking about me. See, so I really don't have to understand all the other stuff they're saying, or they'll say something like blah 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 Black American. Okay, so I know okay they're talking about me. But yeah, I took that guy over and had him look at that house. Um, it had like 7 or 8 bedrooms, big bedrooms, 3 gigantic bathrooms, a big wraparound balcony, mature trees in the yard. It was fully shaded. 485 square meter lot, about a 425, 430 square meter house. And they only wanted 7 million. They said, we'll take 7 million. And it happened to be his budget. But he said it was too big for them. So now he's looking for a lot. And he's probably going to go back and rethink that when he finds out what 7 million pesos is going to buy him in 2025 over here. Not a whole lot, maybe 150 square meter house or something. He said, on another note, what was the first food Cal missed coming back to the Philippines? Well, you know, there's nothing like a good American burger. Oh, you know, that's one thing I miss. You know, tacos, a lot of, you know, the beef. The ground beef over here is different. I can go to Seymour and get the ground beef, but it's not going to be the same ground beef as at home. And, you know, steaks. One of the first meals I had was a nice T-bone steak when I went back. But I've been over here so long, I see that it's what I missed about the Philippines when I went home. See, I had been over here for so long, like 6 years, that the craving for all the Western food had been gone. I ain't gotten used to, you know, I eat my chicken wings out of the air fryer. Like we're having beef steak today. And her mother's a great cook, see? So I really haven't missed a whole lot. And then, you know, all kinds of fish. You know, and of course that's about the only fried food I'll eat. But then Maryland will make fish soup, man. Oh, it's so delicious. I wasn't used to eating that at home. You know, she'll take the mongoose and cut it up, you know, and she'll make the fish. It's so delicious with, you know, tomatoes and different vegetables in it. I eat a lot of soup here, but I've become acclimated to my diet over here. It's I don't even miss that food over there, but of course when I went home, pizza. It's not the same over there as it is here. My last day in America, me and Eric, Eric Sadler, he's from Chicago. We ate at Uno's Pizzeria. He took me to my hotel right not far from the O'Hara. And man, pizza was so good. And then Juice had set us up, Cedric had set us up with the meet and greet at Gino's East Pizzeria, where those deep dish pizzas. See, you're not gonna find anything like that over here. But I really was just enjoying it. I don't miss it. I wasn't over there long enough. Yeah, I don't see David Russell crossing lines. I haven't seen him crossing lines. Me either. But yeah, guys, I got about 11 more minutes left on here. I'm gonna kind of go back to what we were talking about, and the topic was, you know, if you can answer this one question before traveling abroad, your chances of success will increase. And that one question is, how long will I stay in my destination, no matter where you're going? I mean, and stand on that. If you can really answer that question, if you say, well, I'm only going to be there for 2 weeks, and do proper planning around 2 weeks, you got the right money, the right uh, itinerary for the 2 weeks, you're going to be straight because a worry-free vacation, that's the goal, right? It's when we try to stretch it, when it starts feeling too good over here, and that's what happens to men when they come to the Philippines. So many guys I know, they come over here, I'm only going to be here for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They end up staying 3 or 4 months. That's when the problems can start. Because the Philippines grabs a hold of me in here. They meet the right woman. They got the sunshine out here. They go to the beautiful beaches. They're like, man, I can stay in this hotel, man. Look at how nice this is for $70. And they don't want to leave. People treat them so well. And this is when the problems start. But if you can do that, because the Philippines isn't going anywhere, Thailand isn't going anywhere, Vietnam isn't going anywhere. Go back home and then come back again. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of us end up overstaying. I extended my first trip here, but I only came for a week. That's how little I knew about the Philippines. I didn't even know I was going to fly all the way over here, not even thinking about jet lag and all that, the time difference. It never crossed my mind. I said, I'm going to the Philippines for 1 week. Right. And it was so good after 1 week, I said, nah, I extended for a week. I ended up spending more money. But I couldn't stay any further because I had to come back home because of my work. But yeah, that's what you want, man. That worry-free vacation or retirement, really. He said, it's funny how these guys get hooked and don't want to go back home. It is, man. They think they know the Philippines by watching these videos. Man, we only scratch the surface. Remember, one big thing that's going to determine how well you like this place. If the right woman is waiting for you at that airport or whenever you get settled in, you're done, man. Your 2 weeks is probably going to turn into a month or 2 months. That's when you don't want to go home. And see, every time I came over here, the right woman was waiting for me. I mean, it never failed. I've never gotten off that plane or gotten to the hotel and got situated, and the right woman wasn't there, man. That's why when people talk about, oh, these women are scammers and this and that, they're not. You just picking the wrong women. You don't know what you're doing when you go online or whatever it is. And you just don't want to leave because like, damn, I don't know when I'm going to get back. I don't know when the next time I'm going to have this much fun. Okay, I don't know when I'm going to see her again. All this is going through your mind, and man, when you're at the airport, I'm in Cebu, I literally had tears in my eyes, and here comes this new batch of tourists coming through, and it just made me feel worse. But yeah, they do get hooked like that. Hey, Philip, he says, when's your next marathon walk, Cal? Cebu to Duma would be insane. But see, I couldn't do it though, because you're talking about you're going from one island to the other, Philip. I would have to take a break. I would get a break on the ferry. If I went from, let's just say, if I left from Cebu, I'd have to walk all the way from Cebu to like Aslab, Malboa, and then catch the ferry over to Cebu Land and then walk from Cebu Land to Dumaguete. That would be a hell of a trip. But, you can't because they're on separate islands. But honestly, I'm not going to do that anymore. That took a lot out of me. I mean, I bit off more than I could chew when I walked over 100 miles, man. It's a long way. I don't know if I made that look easy to y'all or something, Imagine, because some guy told me, he said, Cal, you walked a long way. He said, imagine if you're at the mall in Louisville, Kentucky, and you locked your keys in the car and you had to walk from the mall to your house, which would be like 25 miles. I walked 100 miles, man. That's not easy to do. I'm going to come up with something else, Philip, but I don't think I'm going to do that. And then it was 130 heat index. Y'all don't realize, man, how tough that was. It was really tough. If it wasn't for my buddy, Steve, I wouldn't have made it. I mean, he really pushed me those last 2 days. Y'all got to understand the last day. Now, remember, I already been walking 3 days now. My feet and bunions, everything hurt. I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning before it gets hot. The last day we walked 50 kilometers, man. We walked from Baez to Dumagetti. Anybody on here can probably bear witness to how far that is. That's one of like the last major stops when you're going from San Carlos City to Dumagetti on the bus. That's a long way, man. Every day it got harder because when you wake up, man, every bone in your body, every muscle in your body's aching. And you start out good because I had good shoes and it's cool. But then, man, about 9 o'clock, when the sun punches that clock, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have made it. I would have stopped. I mean, I would have, but it would have took me probably 2 or 3 extra days. He said, "Yeah, views equal bucks. Simple as that." Yeah, I don't get it when um, they talk about channels and oh, he's only doing that for views. Well, of course, it's all clickbait, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember this, okay? I don't know what's going on with y'all's mind and these, the evil powers that be, they put that out there. Oh, it's clickbait. It's all clickbait. Every title that somebody makes for their blog, every thumbnail, the content, it's all there to make you click on the video and hopefully watch it so they can earn money. But for some reason, the vloggers over in the Philippines, man, we're under a microscope, man. They give us more hell. I don't know of any other vloggers. I saw another vlogger, it kind of shocked me. I'm like, well, what's it look like a vlogger? Putting down other vloggers saying, oh, yeah, the guys over there are making all kinds of money. And I'm like, well, why are you saying this? You're doing it right now. I mean, that's being a hypocrite. I mean, I don't care why people are on YouTube. Why should that bother you? And why should it bother you whether or not somebody's earning any money or not? And if they have to pay taxes here and, oh, has he got the right visa to be doing YouTube? Don't you know if they came down on people doing YouTube over here, they would, for every foreigner, they would have to get us all, whether you're earning any money or not, because if you say that this is working in the Philippines, not working from the Philippines, then even if you're just a regular YouTuber with no followers and you're making videos, then you're working too. But we have something called reciprocity in America. I don't have to pay taxes in America and in the Philippines. Okay, it would be nice if the Philippines said, okay, you can pay taxes here. We'll give you a citizenship. I wouldn't have any problem doing it. But there's no reason that I would have to pay taxes. Google being in America, okay, I'm no different than a digital nomad. They would have to get all of them too. Okay, and then Google sends the money that I earn on an American company. They send it to an American bank. I don't earn any money inside the Philippines. I work from the Philippines, but if they ever came to me and say, hey, look, we want you to pay taxes, I would. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But taxation without representation, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, you got to give me something for my taxes. But why anybody would even worry about that, it it blows my mind. But when, like I told the guy, Dan, nothing over here surprises me. It just doesn't. Nothing surprises me over here anymore. But had I known this before, would I have a YouTube channel? Probably not. But remember, I don't live hypothetically. I live now. I mean, just deal with it, guys. He said, "Hey, Booby, yeah, Booby, Booby finished first in her kindergarten class. We were shocked. Maryland was, because Maryland went to the graduation, and normally it's in alphabetical order unless you're, you know, the top one, which is big over here for some reason. They call Booby's name first, and Maryland's just sitting there thinking like, why did they call Booby's name? She's got an R. Her name's supposed to be way back here. They said, no, she's top one. But thank y'all so much for your super chat, super stickers, your thumbs up, all your support for Sunshine Shoulders. Um, I really appreciate it. He said they sure don't want to see Paul's old wrinkled up face. Yeah, he said that a lot of guys are prostituting their wives and girlfriends. I think people have gotten away from that. Certainly the big vloggers because they know they're under such scrutiny. You know, I don't see anybody doing that. Now, is there some single vloggers that go around, and showing women on the cameras and stuff like that? It's a couple that do that. But I don't see a lot of vloggers. It's like, first of all, they don't want their woman to go through all this unless she has her own channel. I mean, Marilyn can't even read the comments. She gets upset. I was like, well, why are you getting so upset? We don't even know the people. These are strangers. We'll never meet them. And then I can get rid of them if they too bad, which I don't do it. The only time I get rid of you, I promise, guys, if you attacking me or somebody else. If you just coming with your opinion, why would I? That's going to hurt my channel. I want that engagement. That's part of the algorithm. If you disagree, that don't mean anything. But if you come on here, oh yeah, you a scammer, and I'm like, well, who am I scamming? They never told me who I'm scamming, but I'm a scammer. Every blogger over here is a scammer. Can anybody explain that to me? Every Filipino blogger is a scammer. That's always kind of made me laugh. He said, time to break that wig out again. Booby had it on the other day. I might break it out the next live stream. I wore that wig to make a point to black women on how ridiculous they look wearing that fake hair. Imagine if I had to wear that fake hair like that to look handsome. That's what I was doing because men, we can't wear makeup. We can if we want to, but I mean, you know what I'm saying. It's just not, if you're looking for a fair shake, you're not gonna get it. But imagine all the games that women play with those wigs and makeup and all that stuff. All that they pull them old body forming suits on. Then you get home and then she's the damn blob. Once she takes that off, everything just falls to the ground and or whatever it is, gravity takes over. See, we can't do that kind of stuff. But they can. They get away with it. Certainly makeup, man. He said Margarita Village. I like the sound of that. Yeah, I live in Margarita Village Extension. I used to live in Margarita Village, Paul. That's owned by the city. It's developed. And John ended up moving in my house. When we built this house, he moved from the apartment complex he was living in into their house over there because the owners of his apartment building, they lowered the rent. So then Filipinos start moving in, and John, see, at one time, John was the only person living in that apartment complex. He was the only one because the rent was too high. I think it was like 7,000. So the owners who live in America, they lowered it to 5,500, and all the apartments filled up. Well, and that's why I was telling John. I said, "Well, John, you can't get mad because they had sorry stores, they had okay stores. There was chickens running around the place." I said, "John, that's their culture. You can't get mad at that." But John couldn't deal with it, so he moved into their house over there. He said most of those women are now on TikTok and OnlyFans, pulling down big money. Well, hell, it's a lot of competition, you know. But like I said, I don't really know of any vloggers who are doing that. I'm not sure. Now, even a lot of times, now I see where I hardly even see any titles or any content where they're talking about sex anymore. Really, I see like Richie Rich. He came out with one that said, "Can the old foreigners handle the young Filipinos in the bedroom?" But if I made something like that, they would come after me hard. I mean, I made those videos years ago. The vloggers have gotten smart. The ones who are, have gained some traction. They know that people are watching. So we have to really be uh, careful what we talk about. But not only that, but after you're on YouTube for a while, man, you got to grow or you're going to go. You can't just sit there and talk about relationships all day long, and that's all you're talking about. But that's the go-to. If you want views, of your views, you look over in the YouTube studio, and analytics say, oh, your views are coming down. You go to the well. You start talking about, you know, relationships, long distance relationships, age gap relationship, whatever it is, you're gonna get views. But once you realize that now the percentage of men coming over here is growing that are coming over here for the cost of living, now you start talking about different things like that. Because a lot of times when you see these guys talking about relationships, they don't have a woman. I can't take advice from a man. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but I'm saying I can't take advice from a man. At least show me a woman. I mean, I'm supposed to just take your word for it. I mean, some of these big bloggers, man, okay, like Regular Guy, let's see, Chad Foster, these guys have big followings, man. But you never see them with a woman. You just take for granted, well, these guys, they're popular, they got big channels, they get money. There's a woman there. Well, if you're going to talk about women and talk about relationships, let me see it at least. I mean, it would give you more credibility. I don't troll people. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. You know, that's all. Those guys can do whatever they want to do. Whatever works for them. I see a lot of people now doing more interviews. Well, people won't interview with me because they know I get the heat. They know, they can't stand, they can't stand criticism from strangers. And this is why I try to tell them, these guys don't even know you. Why are you so worried about that? What do you have? So, I can't do that. They won't do that. Yeah, the evacuation slide. So, I got to get real creative. And, you just by, I've got a lot of life over here in the Philippines. So I talk about that. And this is what I try to get people to do, but they don't, I don't want anybody to know anything about me. Well, get off of YouTube then, because after a while, them topics are going to dry up. He said, you may not want to go straight to the province. We got some shaky ass people that live in Upper Tulum. Well, even if you take the people out of the equation, Thomas, man, they can't handle the province, man. We're always thinking, oh, it's cheaper in the province. Yeah, well, the less money, the lower your budget, the lower your security, number one. The lower the amenities. Do you really think you can go from living in middle class America straight to the province? Well, try it. If you think you can do it, you're going to be very uncomfortable. You're going to be very inconvenienced. When you reach the point where you'll be able to do that, yeah, I could live in the province now, but I wouldn't want to. I want to see some people every now and then. It's not easy living in that province, man. But people seem to think it is because it sounds good, sounds sexy. They talk about, yeah, I'm leaving. I've got a guy comes on here. I haven't seen him lately. I don't know if he's building a house. Saran a lot. He lives in the province, okay, in the mountains. And the thing about he's living on, he said most months he lives on $400 or less. And he really does. But I don't know how many of us could live like that. Or would want to live like that. But he seems to be happy. And I think that's where he started. But remember, he's an Army veteran and everything like that. And I don't know where he comes from over in America. If he comes from a rural place in America, that would help him too. But hell, I've been over here on and off over 16 years, man. I don't know if I could handle that type of life because not only are you inconvenienced, but now you dealing with the big geckos rather. You're dealing with the mosquitoes. You're dealing with a whole lot of stuff, man, you're not used to. I mean, it gets dark. When it gets dark, you're done. You're in. You're in the house. Because it's dark, dark. There's no lights up there. And, you got to walk a thin line because if you piss somebody off, guys. Hey, Sonny D, thanks for that super chat. He said, can I get a firearm under the table? Yeah, you could. You could, but I don't know. If I needed a gun over here, I wouldn't be here. And you got to be real careful because the same people that would sell you the gun and turn around and turn you in for having the damn gun. It's other ways you can protect yourself. First of all, rule number one, practice that. Shut the fuck up and mind your own business. Sonny D, thanks for the super chat. What's the current murder rate for foreigners? It's very, very low over here. But when you talk about foreigners, are you talking about Western foreigners? Because we seem to only think in terms of Western foreigners. Remember, there's a lot of Asian foreigners over here. Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese, Korean. Koreans are big over here. And, they run a lot of businesses and stuff, Chinese and Koreans. So they, have a whole lot more trouble and a lot more interaction with the bad guys than we do as Westerners. We don't have the same type of relationship with Filipinos as they do. They got a whole different relationship. But if you want to talk about, just say Americans. If you're in America, it's low. you know, you've got one crime rate for foreigners and one crime rate for locals. I'm safer over here because I'm a foreigner. At home, I'm not as safe because I'm a local. But yeah, you're not going to have that kind of problem over here, man, you know. But I don't tell people it's safe for them anymore. I say it's safe for me because I don't know you, Sonny D. Are you who you gonna deal with? Is the woman separated? You know, where does she live? Do you use drugs? You talking about having a gun, you know, and all that stuff like that. See, I don't know. It's a lot that goes into that. Do you go out a lot? You know, because that can cause problems when you start drinking in these little local clubs. Okay, that has a lot to do with it. He said the divide in the USA is getting out of control, both political and race wise. Yeah, it's really been out of control. It just takes somebody like Trump to bring it to the forefront. That's the blessing of his being elected. You know, they're out of the woodwork. They can't hide anymore like when they're under certain other administration. And that's what it's already divided. That's why I didn't really talk whole lot about what's going on over there because I'm over here. It's the reason I left John R. You know, I just couldn't take it. See, um, and then what makes me even madder is a lot of my white friends, man. They act like they're not seeing the same thing I'm seeing, and they will, you know, um, they'll justify it some kind of way. Moments with Mitch, he really shocked me. He's like, yeah, they're being murdered over there. Moments with Mitch, nobody's bothering those Afrikaners over there. Okay, you know, I mean, of all the things that Trump is doing, this is what's going to set the house on fire. This is going to keep on and keep on because white people are upset about this. They see how crazy it is. And then he's standing in front of the world and saying that genocide is being committed against these people over here. He's going to tell a blatant lie like that. The United States, you know, all presidents lie. But I mean, hell, we can fact check that lie. So I'd rather just not talk about it because people are going to interpret it the way they want to interpret it anyway, just like they do race and politics and sports. And you just, you know, the best thing I could do was to leave because I've had it up to here with it. Okay. I thought at least some parts of my life I'd be able to escape that racism and stuff like that. No, it's worse now over there. It's worse over there right now. What do you mean all expats? Yeah, all expats. There's more than just Western expats over here. Koreans are the number one visitors to the Philippines. I think Chinese have more expats. America's probably third on that list. It's a lot of people over here. Indians, okay, Africans. But when a foreigner gets killed over here, it's big news because it happens so rarely. It's almost like a plane crash or something. It gets a lot of coverage because it doesn't happen that often. I mean, you really, Sonny D, you really got to be asking for it to get into it over here like that. You really got to be doing something crazy. You really got to be, you know, either loaning money. I mean, you know, most of what's going on over here is personal. Not a whole lot of random killings and stuff over here. That's one thing I noticed. There's nobody picking up a AR-15 and going into the schools and gunning down first graders and stuff like that. That doesn't happen like this. Run in Walmart and kill 22 people, like the guy did down in El Paso, Texas. It just doesn't. It hasn't happened over here. It doesn't happen, man. Very rare. Normally, when somebody gets killed, it's personal. When that American got killed in Cebu at the waterfront, that was personal. Okay, this last American that got robbed down in, was that Mindanao? He got killed. I'm trying to think. Was that Mindanao? See, we haven't heard anything else about that. That man was set up, in my opinion. Okay, and every seldom people gonna follow you back to your hotel like that. Okay, it's just too many things that don't add up in that situation. A lot of times it's an inside job anyway. When that German down in Cebu and his Filipino wife, when they ended up getting robbed and killed, that was an inside job. They let the wrong people in their house. Somebody knew they had a safe in there, and the bad guys came, and that's what they wanted, was the safe. Well, the guy wouldn't give it up. They killed him immediately, and they tortured the woman, and she still didn't give them the combination. And the police know who's doing this stuff. Okay, they know whose MO that is. They were on to those people the same night. They knew who did it. See, it's a different culture over here, guys. Filipinos will tell on you. They're gonna tell if they see something. They're not like in my neighborhood. Oh, he's a snitch. They worry about you being labeled a snitch. So, oh, it's none of my business. No, you do something over here, they're gonna tell on you. And that's why the police solve a lot of these cases. AC King says, I grew up in a U.S. province in the rural South with outhouses and hand dug wells, water drawn with buckets. I think I could live in the province there. Well, you grew up there, but you haven't lived that way in decades. Okay. And you probably could, depending on what province. All provinces aren't the same. Okay. We could do anything. It's not impossible. Certainly when you got other people doing it. But would you be comfortable? I don't think you would. I don't think you'd be comfortable. Just imagine getting to your house. Okay, you see where my son used to live in Cebu? He lived in Naga City in Lanas. They lived in the mountains. Man, go on my channel. I got the video where I'd go up there and see him. Just getting to your house is inconvenient. Once you're up there, some of those people up there, they don't even come down. They only come down for like, they go to the doctor. I mean, there's young women I was interviewing and talking to up there. They're part of his family. They're 22, 23. They don't come down. They just stay up there. So every province isn't the same. But just getting to your house, man, is sometimes tricky. You know, the logistics. Yeah, they tell it all over here, and that's good. Man, look, okay, let me tell you something. They call Filipinos the world's greatest neighbors for a reason. I don't have an alarm over here, okay? They're going to watch your house for you when you're not there. You don't even have to ask them. And if you come back and they say, yeah, okay, I saw the man over there, him over there, they'll do it with their lips. He's over there, you know, he climbed over your wall or whatever. And they're going to tell. Okay, I told y'all that a long time ago. They'll dry snitch on you too, especially those security guards and stuff. On my second trip, okay, my first trip here, me and the lady, we went to Tamboli Beach Resort in Lapu Lapu. And we was there for a week. about a week or 10 days, something like that. Well, about 2 months later, when I came back to the Philippines, I was with somebody different. And I liked it there so much, I went there. Well, I'll be damned if the people didn't tell the girl I was just there with somebody else. And she's crying and, oh, yeah. I said, look, it's before I even met you. But this is when I was like, oh, okay. This is when I realized how not knowing the language, it can work against you. Because we're sitting there, the whole time I'm there with the one lady, buying from the vendors and everything. Wherever I go, I'm going to support the locals. Not realizing they're recording everything in their damn mind. And so when I come back 2 months later to the same vendors, the same tricycle drivers, they're telling the woman I'm with, he was with somebody else. And everything that, okay, stay in one of these condominiums. Okay, and you got to come in and the guards are there and they see you take the woman upstairs, or whoever it is you take it. And then you come through again with somebody else. They're telling that woman, what's up, Clyde? They're going to tell. And that's good. They get involved, man. The guy who ran over the girl in Bacala, they're trying to get him locked up and to stay locked up. Because I believe, from what I heard, he was connected. His family was connected up there, but they're trying to keep him locked up or whatever. But I think he's out on bond. But AC did it before. Okay, who wants to do that right now? Okay, who wants to go to our house late at night? You cannot see. Okay, and Lord knows what's in there with you, AC. And big ass lizards and stuff like that. You know, snakes and all kind of stuff going on in the depending on what province you in. He said, I ain't gonna lie, that province is tough. Man, guys are saying anything online, man, to the you know, until they're actually boots on the ground. There is no aircon there unless you build your own house and put an aircon in there. He said, I ain't gonna lie, that province life is tough. I dread it sometimes when I visit the in-laws, but you gotta find something to occupy yourself. A lonely existence there. Yeah, I didn't even mention that part of it. And then you're gonna go. I can do anything for one day. I've never stayed all night in the province. I've always, out of respect, I've always went there with my girlfriend or my wife and visit their family or whatever. We never stayed all night though. Okay. Not saying I'm better, Dan. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I never did. I'm not comfortable. Because my son's mother, now they've got plumbing now, but when I went up there in 2010, there was no plumbing. So I never used the bathroom there. So if they had to use the bathroom, they went out in the jungle. You're not going to do that, AC King. You're going to put down your damn drawers and sit on the damn ground. You're not going to do that. Well, it actually is. It actually is. But if you bring it up, oh, you're playing a race car. You're a victim. This is the post-racial society over in America. The president said the reason he used the race card to bring those white Afrikaners over here. There's no proof that the genocide is being committed against them. Okay, that's a lie. That's a blatant lie. Okay, nobody's land has been confiscated over there. Those people are privileged over there, those Afrikaners. They're descendants of the people who founded the apartheid, who stole all that land and took all that land from the black African farmers over there and killed them. Okay? Does anybody know what apartheid is? Do you even care? But now what the government is doing over there, and it's slow, they're trying to level the playing field. And when you're used to being privileged, equality seems like you're being oppressed. And for our president, as stupid as he is, man, to get on TV and say that, okay, it's embarrassing, man. It's like, man, I don't even want to deal with it. And you got people who are gonna, you know, justify that. Yeah, it's true. But Trump is only the tip of the iceberg. He's not the worst that's ever been there. It's a blessing that he's in office. He's showing us he's pulling back the curtain. If you want to deny it, if you don't want to see it, that's on you. He's showing you. He's pulling it back. He's saying, I don't care what you think. Now, here's a clown who signed an executive order canceling all refugee status in January. Okay, eliminating that. That's over. Remember, it takes years really to get that done. And you really got to be coming from some inhospitable conditions, some hostile conditions. Usually war, natural disaster, something like that. Real genocide. And they're going to vet the hell out of you. And then February, all of a sudden, he signed an executive order granting them refugee status. Did you see what they looked like getting off those planes? They were healthy. Nothing wrong with them. Trust me, guys, this is going to blow up big over there. It's not, the people really aren't covering it as hard as they're going to start covering it. People are going to start, they're going to start coming out because he's talking about bringing thousands of them over there. I think 14,000. That's just the beginning, okay? When people in America are struggling right now. Okay? I'm sorry, guys. That's why I left there, man. I couldn't deal with it. But yeah, thank y'all so much. I got to get off here, man. Lunch is ready. Well, hell, Maryland's gone because the funeral starts at 1 o'clock. He said Ralph Manicky is the one that got killed, Calvin. Did they ever catch him? The one that got killed in Mindanao. Well, that's who I was talking about. Well, I don't know. We've forgotten all about that, but I guarantee you he was set up. Okay. First of all, who's just going to be sitting around at the ATM at night watching for the foreigner? And then not only that, he didn't get killed at the ATM machine. He got killed. They had already arrived at the resort. They stopped in front of the resort. They're taking out their stuff, getting ready to walk in the resort when they got robbed. But it happens so seldom, very seldom does it happen. That is big news. It's like a plane crash. But take care, y'all. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. I'll see y'all next time. The meet and greet, I should have the information by the end of this week. Okay. It's definitely going to be here in St. Carlos City, but it's either going to be at Carmel's, which is my first choice, or back at Meg's where we always have it. He said, do you think America, no, will eventually be brain drained? No, absolutely not. Some people live very, very good over there. Just like the guys were talking about, the South Africans was like, we got it good over here. We don't want to go to America. We love our country. Okay, they're not leaving South Africa because they're being persecuted and a genocide is being committed against them over there. Okay, they live a privileged life over there. But okay, guys, I'll see y'all later. Hey, thanks. Who is this? Mopar for that super chat. He said, enjoy your show, brother. Have a great day. I'll be over in August in Cameroon, sir. Oh, wow. That's way up there. Thank you, Mopar. I appreciate it. Yeah, I hate this for my country, man, but it's always been that way. You know, this is what you have to educate. If you're an American and you come over here and you start dealing with Filipinos, man, you have to educate them. Certainly, if you're going to take her back to America, you got to educate them on that. You can't act like, I don't care what color you are. You can't act like, oh, there's nothing going on over here. Okay, it wasn't long ago they were assaulting Asians in America for no reason at all, just because they were Asian. I mean, you would be unthinking not to tell your woman about all that goes on over there. Okay, so just think about that, guys. That's another reason you may not want to bring her over there. You bringing her out of a safe environment over here into a volatile environment over there. And people can, no, America's the greatest country in the world and all that. There's people on here that's going to push back. Okay, you can be in denial all you want. It's a rotten ass place over there, man. They, you know, America, man, it's never been great. Okay? And they'll never be great again, just based on how it was founded. It's not democracy over there. How you gonna call it a democracy when you got rid of all the people who were there originally and you enslaved and imprisoned everybody else? So yeah, if you're a white man, you can say, oh yeah, this is democracy. Yeah, it is for you, but for everybody else, it's not, guys. Okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna hold my tongue, but I did get out of the way. Okay, because I'm not one of those guys. I'm not gonna keep putting up with it. I've been dealing with that stuff, man, my whole life. Okay, if I'm gonna go out and hurt somebody, I know who to hurt. I'm not gonna hurt innocent people.